All right, we're live. Let me make sure the stream is coming through everywhere. Give it just a second. If you can see me and hear me, do me a favor. Type a yes in the chat. And while people are still arriving, drop your city and your country in there too. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. We're going to be together for a good while tonight, so do the smart thing now. Grab a notebook and a pen, get some water, get comfortable. Because tonight is not a sit-back kind of night. You're going to be writing things down about your own life, about your own business. All right, while the room fills up, let me tell you what tonight actually is. Look, if you've read all the manifestation books, done the certifications, tried all the courses, the retreats, the journals, the whole thing, and something still isn't clicking, I want to tell you something right up front. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's no character flaw. You're not broken. You're not behind. It's that you've been given one little piece of the puzzle at a time. From this teacher, from that book, from the other program. And nobody ever gave you the whole map. That's what these next hours are for. To give you the whole map. All of it. The outer map and the inner map. Both at the same time, together. So you can finally see where you actually are, where the brake is firing, and what the next gate actually requires. These next hours, one map, let's go. However you found your way here, on YouTube, through my work, or through the free community, welcome. It's the same map for all of you, in one place for the first time. Here's what's coming. I'm going to draw you the whole map, where you are in your business and where you are in yourself. I'll show you my 3 AI tools working on real situations. And near the end, I'll walk you inside the community itself, only if it's right for you. One thing, tonight isn't something you watch. It's a workshop. You've got the notebook. Use it. The map only works if we write ourselves onto it. Now, to draw a map, you have to walk the terrain first. So, let me tell you where it began. So, 2 quick facts. And honestly, get through these fast. They're context, not credentials. 25 years ago, I wrote a book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money, international bestseller. Thousands of readers have written to me over the years about manifesting money, careers, relationships, lives because of it. Still in print, still selling. A few years after that, I was the creative consultant on the film The Secret. Rhonda Byrne acknowledged me in the book. The whole thing reached, 200 million people? Something like that. Now look, the reason I'm telling you any of this is not the flex. Honestly, it really isn't. The reason I'm telling you this is because what came next, what I'm about to tell you in the next 3 minutes, makes no sense without it. There's a part of this story I almost didn't put in this masterclass. Honestly, it's not pretty. It isn't the kind of thing you'd put on a book jacket. It isn't the flex. But if I don't tell you this part, none of the rest of what I'm going to show you will quite make sense. So I'm telling you. So picture this. A few years after my book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money came out, and after I served as creative consultant on the film The Secret. It's early morning, around 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. I'm lying in bed, the kind of bed where you don't really sleep. You just sort of close your eyes and wait for the sun. And I'm drowning. I mean, genuinely drowning. In the next room, on the desk, there's a stack of bills, late notices, second notices, third notices. And underneath all of those are eviction notices. Plural, not one, plural. And there's this voice in my head. That voice many of us have heard at one point or another. telling me I'm a failure, cursed, doomed, broke, fucked, telling me the businesses are a joke, running on a 24-hour loop, never once taking a break. And the worst part, I'm lying there at 5 in the morning, actually hoping the night would last a week. Genuinely, because at night the phone isn't ringing, the debt collectors aren't calling, the world is still asleep. And for a few hours, I'm allowed to be invisible. That's the deal I'm offering the universe at 5 in the morning. Just let the night last a little longer. And I remember writing in my journal around that time, I wrote that it felt like dark nights of the soul, mixed with glorious mornings. Like being stuck in a bad science fiction movie. Awesome scenery, great torment, stuck. The same man who had served as creative consultant on the film The Secret, the same man who had written a book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money, now Googling at 5 in the morning, why is my money manifesting failing? The irony of it, my friend, it nearly killed me. And here's what I didn't know yet. What nobody had ever told me, what nobody had ever named for me. I'd had a difficult childhood, adverse childhood experiences, and from those I developed complex PTSD. And the thing about complex PTSD is when it kicks in, it kicks in. There's no negotiating with it. And it was manifesting too, behind my own back. You know what I mean? 24/7? While I was up there making the pretty vision boards and writing the affirmations, the other system was running the opposite program, underneath. The whole time. And here's the image that finally cracked it for me. Listen to this. My old fragmented self had its own vision board, painted inside my cellular structure. I'm telling you, painted into the body. And it was way more invested in that vision board than I was in the pretty one on my office wall. So while I'm up there visualizing the breakthrough, the success, the abundance, the launches, my old self was quietly, visualizing the eviction notice, the collapse, the shame, the familiar. And the old self had the bigger vote, my friend, every time. That was the part of me running the show. The part of me I'd never actually met. The part of me nobody had ever named. So once I sobered up from thinking I already knew everything about manifestation, once I really sobered up, here's what I realized. I didn't need to learn how to manifest better. I needed to learn how to get out of my own way. Now look, I didn't have those exact words yet, not for what I now help people do. I didn't have the positioning, I didn't have the I help, I didn't have any of that yet. But that, right there, that was it. The whole me, the whole system was manifesting. And the part running the show, that was the part I'd never met. And what had happened, looking back, is through being wounded, I'd become what they call the wounded healer. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. So, because I'd been in the hole and I'd figured out how to get out, I could show others. And that phrase right there, get out of my own way, that's now the phrase I use for the work we do together. The whole thing, the I help, the positioning, all of it. It came from this. Not from a strategy session, not from a marketing brainstorm, from this. From the bedroom at 5 in the morning with the eviction notices. From the bottom, that's where the phrase was born. So, what happened next is kind of funny, honestly. You're gonna laugh. One ordinary day, having basically given up on finding an answer, I was watching random YouTube videos to distract myself. Just anything. Brain off, scrolling. And I ended up, of all things, watching videos about ants. Ants. Don't ask me why, I just find ants fascinating, alright? Always have, don't ask. Anyway, so I'm watching ants. And the algorithm sends me, boom, to a video about something called emergence. Emergent phenomena. Ever heard of it? Emergence is the word for what happens in complex systems. Ant colonies, weather systems, snowflakes, flocks of birds, schools of fish.
You know what I mean?
In all of those, the output of the whole system is a property of the whole, not the sum of the parts. The colony does things no single ant decides. The flock turns in unison without any one bird leading. The snowflake takes a shape no individual molecule chose.
Right?
And then, boom, it hit me. Manifesting is emergent. The whole self is manifesting. Not just the part making the vision board, the whole self. The part of me that learned to stay small back in 1987. The part still loyal to the family role. The part that codes safety as quiet. The part that flinches when money shows up too fast.
All of it, all of that is part of the colony.
And the vision board can't override the colony, my friend. It just can't. The colony beats the individual ant. And here's the thing that really clicked. I'd been learning the tricks of the trade, affirmations, vision boards, scripting, positive thinking, all that stuff, without learning the trade itself.
The tools without the craft.
Does that make sense? And once I saw that, the next stretch of years stopped being a search. It stopped being, why isn't manifestation working for me? That question dissolved.
Because now I knew. Now I had the answer.
What it became, what the next several years became, was the drawing of a map. The terrain I'd been walking blind year after year, all the way back to 2001, that became a map I could finally share. What you read in A Happy Pocket Full of Money back in 2001, that was the first chapter of that map. The principles, the foundation, the early framing.
What's coming in the next few hours? That's the whole map as it stands today, 2026.
And honestly, what was enough in 2001 is just not enough for what's here in 2026. The world we are building businesses in now, it requires more integration, more inner work, more whole system thinking than the law of attraction shorthand of 20 years ago could ever provide.
We've evolved. Our understanding has evolved. The work has evolved.
That's why this masterclass exists. That's why we're here. Not to replace the early teachings, but to complete them. To put them inside a bigger system that actually holds them. So, look, if you're sitting here having read all the books, done all the certifications, watched all the videos, gone to all the retreats, tried all the modalities, and you're still feeling like something just isn't clicking.
Please hear me on this, please.
If it happened to me, the guy who wrote the book, the guy who was on the film, the guy who should have had this whole thing figured out, then it isn't because anything's wrong with you. It can't be, right? It's because none of us has been given the full map yet. None of us. And I had to draw it for myself the hard way before I could give it to anyone. So, the next thing I want to show you is the 2 insights that came out of all of that. Just 2. And when you hold them together, both of them at the same time, in the same hand,
they change everything about why we get stuck. All right, let's go there now.
So, why does this happen? Why do so many of us do the work? And I mean really do it. The books, the courses, the retreats, the practices, the journals, and still feel stuck. Right? Still feel like something's underneath, holding us back, that we can't quite see. Let me walk you through the explanations we usually get given. Because look, they're not entirely wrong, they're just not enough. None of them by themselves is enough. First one, you need to visualize harder, right? Visualize more vividly, visualize more often, visualize with more feeling. And listen,
Visualization is real. It works. I'm not knocking it. I literally wrote a book about it. But here's the thing. When the system underneath the visualization is fragmented, no amount of harder visualizing overrides it. Second one, you haven't healed your trauma yet, right? More therapy, more somatic work, more inner child stuff, more retreats. And again, listen, the inner work matters. It's the actual mechanism, not the side quest. But healing without a business to walk into is its own kind of trap.
Third one, you need a better system, right? Better calendar, better CRM, better automation, better tactics, better course.
And yeah, systems matter. Of course they do.
The break is upstream of the system, always.
Fourth one, you need more discipline, right? Push harder, show up no matter what. Iron will, just do it. And look, discipline is a muscle. It matters. But when the body says no, and when the body has good historical reasons for saying no, no amount of discipline overrides it for long. So here's what's actually going on. Listen to this. There are two things happening at the same time. Two things, and most programs name one of them. Almost no one, and I mean no one, names both. In this masterclass, I want to name both. Insight number one, the wiring. Many of our businesses are being throttled by patterns our bodies learned in childhood. Listen to me on this. It's not you. It's not weakness. It's wiring. Now, there's something called the ACE study. ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. The CDC and Kaiser Permanente did the foundational work on this back in the 1990s. They studied 17,000 adults. 17,000. And the categories listed up there on screen, they're pretty broad. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, household substance abuse, household mental illness, household domestic violence, incarcerated household member, parental separation or divorce. 10 categories. The score goes 0 to 10. And here's what shocked researchers when the results came back. Around 64% of adults have at least one ACE. 64%, almost 2/3, and around 12% have 4 or more. So this isn't rare, this isn't dramatic, this isn't a special category of person. Many of us are in this without ever having named it, without knowing the word for it, without knowing it has a name at all. And here's what ACEs do physiologically. Listen to this. They rewire the developing nervous system to optimize for surviving the environment we grew up in. Now look, what's optimal for childhood survival? Often, it's the exact opposite of what's optimal for adult business.
Polar opposite, right? Like opposite ends of the spectrum. Watch this. Many of us, and I'm telling you, many of us know the freeze right before sending the price raise email. You know what I mean? Finger hovering over send, heart in the throat. The whole body saying no.
That right there. That's a 6-year-old's survival pattern firing in a 40-year-old's business. The flinch right before posting at full volume. The over-explaining in sales calls. The phone response that shows up exactly when we need boundaries the most. The launch paralysis at the threshold of visibility. The 24 reasons we tell ourselves we're not ready to launch yet, when we've been ready for months. The full body hesitation before charging what the thing is actually worth.
Sound familiar? Any of that?
And look, none of these are character flaws. Not one of them.
Not one.
They're survival patterns. They were once exactly right for the family or the environment or the situation we grew up in. Once upon a time, they kept us safe. And now, they fire in places they were never meant to. Changing wiring is a completely different category of work from changing thoughts. Completely different category. We'll come back to that.
It's not you, it's not weakness, it's wiring.
Insight number 2, the coordinates. None of us has ever been given the map, the actual map. And without a map, every step feels random. Every block feels like a personal failure. Every breakthrough feels like luck. Here's an assumption most of us carry, and we don't even know we're carrying it.
You know what I mean? The assumption goes like this. If I just had the right tactic, the right mindset, the right system, the right practice, I'd be there by now. But here's the thing about tactics. There is no single tactic for where I am right now. There isn't.
Every level of business has its own break. Every level of inner work has its own trap. The tactic that gets us from 5,000 a month to 10,000, that's a completely different tactic than the one that gets us from 30 to 50. Completely different. And the inner practice that lifts us from level 2 mindfulness to level 4, that's not the same practice that lifts us from level 6 to level 8. Different terrain, different tactic, different gate every time. So when we apply the tactic that worked for someone else at a completely different level than we're at, and it doesn't work for us,
what do we do? What do we conclude?
We conclude we're broken, right? Because the tactic worked for them, and it didn't work for me.
So I must be the broken one.
But listen, we're not broken.
We're at a different gate than they were when they wrote that tactic, that's all.
Same person, different gate. The tactic isn't wrong, it's just not the tactic for our gate.
And eventually we start to suspect, maybe I'm the problem, because nothing else in my experience is consistent. There's nothing else to point to.
But with a map, now blocks become predictable. Breakthroughs become engineerable. The same step that felt random, boom, that's the step at this gate. The same block that felt personal, that's the break that fires at the 4 to 5 gate.
Same step, same block, different interpretation, different agency. Does that make sense?
And the map I'm about to give you has 2 axes, 2 of them. One outer, that's the journey of building a business, the actual revenue, the actual systems, the actual gates. One inner, that's the journey of becoming the kind of person who can hold what that business is asking of you. The mindfulness journey. The who am I becoming through this journey. Now look, they're not the same journey. They're really not. The outer one moves at one rhythm. The inner one moves at a completely different rhythm. And yet, they're the same person walking them. The same you, the same me. Walking both at once, whether we know it or not. We'll get to both, I promise you.
But first I need you to feel why wiring and coordinates have to be held together. Because if we hold one without the other, the trap closes again, every time.
And here's something interesting, and this is going to come back later. Many of us in this particular niche, conscious entrepreneurs with adverse childhood experiences,
we tend to sit in a very specific quadrant of that map. A very specific one. We'll find out which one before tonight is done.
But it's not random, I'm telling you. It's exactly the quadrant that ace wiring tends to land us in. And the map's going to show you why. Now look, here's how most programs out there handle this. And listen, I'm not knocking any of them. I want to be really clear about that. So stay with me. There are pure inner work programs, the healing modalities, the somatic work, the trauma-informed coaching. But, and here's the trap, they don't give us a map of the business journey.
So what happens? Many of us heal, and we still don't have a business. Sound familiar?
And then on the other side, the pure business programs, the strategy coaches, the offer design experts, the marketing operators.
And they hand us a map of the business journey. Often a really good one, all right? Solid stuff.
But they don't address wiring, they can't. It's just not what they do. So what happens? We get tactics we can't execute.
Because the break fires the moment we try.
Each kind of program does what it does well. I'm not knocking either one. The trap is doing one without the other leaves us right where we started. And worse than that, way worse than that, now we feel like we failed at the program too, right? Now we're stuck and we feel like a failure on top of it. I'm telling you, that's a brutal place to be. A lot of us have lived in that place. Some of us are living in it right now. So here's what I want to say to you, all right? Listen to this. If you've done the inner work programs and they made you feel better, but your business didn't move, that wasn't because you're uniquely broken. I promise you, it wasn't.
It's because the map was missing.
And the other way around. If you've done the business programs and got tactics that other people seemed able to execute and you just couldn't, that wasn't because you're uniquely broken either. It really wasn't. It's because the wiring was running underneath the whole time. And nobody ever named it for you. And listen to me on this. That feeling is the reliable signal that we've been working only one side of the equation. Both sides. That's the deal.
So here's the new frame, all right? Listen.
A working business isn't proof that we healed. No. Doing both at once, the wiring work and the coordinates work held in the same hand, that is the healing.
The business is not the reward, my friend. The integration is the medicine. That right there, that's the door.
So here's how tonight runs.
First, we're going to walk two maps, one outer, one inner.
The outer map is the entrepreneur journey. 9 levels of building a business, from solo to investor. The inner map is the mindfulness journey. 9 levels of inner work, from chaotic but beginning to fully liberated. After each map, there's a moment to find yourself on it, to locate your coordinates. Then we're going to overlay the 2 maps, one on top of the other, and look at the specific quadrant most of us in this niche tend to sit in. That overlay, that's the moment I told you about in the opening, the thing I've never shown publicly before.
Then we're going to walk through the 27 traps that ambush us between the levels. 27 specific traps.
Including the meta trap most of us miss, the big one. Then we'll build the climbing system. 3 pillars: economic machine, mind and heart, spirit and flow, the whole structure. Then the clarity method and the GPS plus I monthly cycle. That's the actual week by week practice, the thing you can run on yourself starting tonight. And along the way, 3 different times, I'm going to demo one of the AI tools, working on a real situation. And right at the very end, only if any of this lands for you, only if it's right for you, I'll walk you inside the community where we walk this together. Now look, if all that sounds like a lot, that's because it is. Honestly, it is. All right, let's start with the first map, the outer one. The journey of building a business and where each of us is sitting on it. Right now, give me 2 seconds, a sip of water. Then we climb into the first map.
All right, the first map, the outer one, the journey of building a business.
Now look, I want to be clear about something. This isn't my map. I didn't invent the levels. I just spent 25 years walking them, then watching other people walk them, then drawing them all in one place, so the rest of us don't have to walk them blind, right? There are 9 levels. 9. From 0, pre-business, dead broke, all the way to $1 billion in business.
And they're grouped into 3 phases, self-employed, business owner, investor.
Each phase has its own thing going on. Each level has its own break. Each gate between levels has its own trap. And here's the rule that breaks most entrepreneurs. I want you to hear this. This one matters. What got you to one level is not what gets you to the next. Different level, different game.
Same person, but different game. And by the end of this first map, you're going to know exactly which of the 9 levels you're at.
Exactly. The specific number. Write it down when we get there. because we're going to come back to that number later tonight when we overlay it with the second map. Hold on to your number, all right? Let's walk the levels. Phase 1, self-employed. The work in this phase is on you, not the market, not the team, just you. You're learning to master your own personal flow, your money, your energy, your time, your attention. There's no team yet, or barely one. The mastery is internal. All right, let's walk the 3 levels in this phase. Level 1, stop bleeding. About 352 million entrepreneurs are sitting at level 1 globally. Financially, you're in the red. Maybe personally, maybe in the business, maybe both. The bills are arriving faster than the income. Team size, it's just you, completely solo. And the way it feels, let me tell you how it feels. It feels like being a victim, out of control, anxious, workaholic energy, chasing shiny objects. And underneath all that, you're leaking money, leaking time, leaking attention, leaking energy all at once.
Sound familiar?
Here's what the break looks like at level 1. Listen to this. It's not that we don't know the tactics. We've probably read more business books than the people 3 levels above us. The break is, we can't slow down long enough to plug the leaks. The hypervigilance won't let us. We're trying to do everything at the same time, and nothing gets fixed. The goal at level 1 is simple. Break even. That's it. Get out of the red. Stop bleeding. And the unlock? Become a specialist. Know exactly who you serve. Know your ikigai, your reason for being. Know your dream customer, specifically, by name almost. And then serve only them, nothing else. Stop trying to be everything to everyone.
The way out of level 1 is narrowing. Always narrowing. Specificity is the unlock. Level 2, transcend survival.
About 132 million entrepreneurs here. Financially, just above broke. Debt-free, technically. But there's nothing left over at the end of the month. Just enough to have nothing beyond basics. Team, still just you. And here's the trap at level 2. Many of us think the way out is to hustle harder. Work harder, push more, squeeze more hours out of the week.
Because that's what got us here, right? That hustle worked once, so we doubled down on it. But that's exactly what won't get us to level 3, I'm telling you.
The hustle pattern is the break. The thing that broke us out of level 1, the thing we credit for our survival, is now the exact thing keeping us stuck at level 2. The goal at level 2 is cash flow positive. Consistently, not just a good month, a pattern of good months. And the unlock, become a true marketer. Listen, people don't buy products. They buy the marketing message. They buy the story. They buy the offer. So we turn the product into an irresistible offer. We build a customer list. Hook, story, offer. That's the unlock.
Level 3, transcend hustling.
About 37 million entrepreneurs here. Financially, sales are consistent. There's actual extra money at the end of the month. 6-figure earnings start showing up here. Team, you, plus an assistant, maybe a contractor or 2. You're not totally alone anymore. And the break at level 3, it's the handoff break. We've hired people, but we're still trying to do everything ourselves. We don't quite trust the people we've brought on. We rewrite their work. We redo their tasks. We tell ourselves it's faster if I just do it. The goal at level 3 is to stop hustling. Start systemizing. Build the thing that runs without your constant input. And the unlock? Automate your promotions. Lock down your brand and your positioning. Treat everything as a project or a process. Start adding SOPs and workflows. Become a specialist in one specific thing. And start letting other people do their jobs, even imperfectly, even differently than you'd do it. That's the unlock. All right, Time to put you on this map.
Type it in the chat. The number of the level you're standing at right now. 1 through 9, just the number. Don't overthink it. First instinct. And be honest, nobody's judging levels here. Every one of us started at 1.
One quick thing before you type it. Don't go by the income alone. Go by where the work actually lives, where your days actually go. All right, whatever number you typed, hold on to it. That's your first coordinate. We're going to need it again tonight.
All right, phase 2, business owner.
Now the game shifts. We're no longer just mastering our own personal flow. Now we're learning to master the market's flow, the industry, the supply chain, the team. There's a business that actually runs, independently of us sometimes.
Level 4, build a team.
About 42 million entrepreneurs here. Financially, this is where we start to see single-digit millionaires. The first million, then the second, then the third. Team, we're starting to build out beyond contractors, actual employees, actual payroll, actual people whose families depend on us paying them on time.
And honestly, this is the gate where a lot of people get stuck for years.
I'm telling you, years. The 4 to 5 gate. Some of us sit at the entrance to level 5 for half a decade or longer.
So if you're stuck here, you're not alone, not even close.
The break at level 4 is the team trust break. The first time we delegate something that actually matters, the first time we let go of doing it ourselves, the first time someone else's work goes out under our name. And here's the thing. For many of us, the team isn't just a team. The team becomes a kind of family, whether we want it to or not. And if our family of origin wasn't safe, listen, that break fires hard right here. The team becomes the place where the old family dynamics quietly play themselves out again. And we don't know why we're tired all the time. Why every team meeting drains us. Why we resent the team we built. The goal at level 4 is to actually build the team. Generate enough cash flow to make payroll without panic at the end of every month. Put basic systems in place.
Level 5, lead a team.
About 15 million entrepreneurs here. Revenue up to about 3 million. Team? A single team. But the team is still dependent on you. You're both the player and the leader. You're in the work and directing the work. That's exhausting.
You're like a player coach in a sport. You're on the field. You're calling the plays. You're scoring the goals. And you're trying to develop the team while you're doing all of that.
Most of us can sustain that for a year or two. Then it starts to break us. The break at level 5 is the leadership identity break. The question that won't go away, who am I to lead?
Because to lead a team, we have to become visible in a way we've maybe never been visible before. We have to take up space. We have to make decisions that affect other people's livelihoods. We have to be the leader.
The goal at level 5 is to make sure the business generates substantial cash consistently. Build systems and assistants that actually keep you in balance, so you're not the bottleneck.
And the unlock? Learn how to lead leaders, not just team members, leaders. That's the next muscle. Level 6, recruit leadership. About 6 million entrepreneurs here, revenue up to about 10 million.
And here's what shifts. Listen, the team is now independent of you. There's a leadership team running the operation.
You're not in the operation anymore. You're in the vision. You're working on the business, not in it. The break at level 6 is the control break, really letting go of the operational reins.
Trusting that someone else is going to care like you did.
And here's the spoiler. They're not going to care exactly like you did. They're not.
They'll care differently. They'll prioritize differently. They'll make decisions you wouldn't have made. And some of those decisions will be better than yours. Some will be worse. And that's the work, letting it be cared for differently by people who aren't you. The unlock at level 6, invest massively in communication systems. Invest massively in leadership development programs for your leadership team.
That's the unlock.
Quick check-in. Now that you've seen phase 2, did your number move? And remember, not by the income, by where the work actually lives. If it moved, type the new one in the chat. If it held, type it again anyway. Claim it. Good. Let's keep going.
Phase 3, investor.
Now look, most of us aren't here yet. That's okay. Really, that's completely okay. But I want you to see this on the map, even if you're nowhere near it.
Level 7, leader transformation.
About 2 million entrepreneurs here globally. 2 million. Revenue between 10 and 30 million. Multiple teams now. Each one independent of you, each one with its own leadership. The break at level 7 is the societal impact break. The question that becomes unavoidable. What am I actually for? Beyond the income, beyond the team, beyond the customers. What's the larger thing I'm here to move? The unlock? Keep investing in communication, in reporting, in leadership development. Start professionally managing investments. And allow yourself to be guided by the leadership team, not always leading, sometimes being led. Level 8, hold trust. About 1.5 million entrepreneurs here. Revenue up to about 100 million. Multiple teams. A real organization now.
The break at level 8 is the public trust break.
Do I deserve to hold this much trust? Customers, employees, shareholders, communities, all holding their hopes inside something I built. That's a weight. The unlock? Invest in systems to grow suppliers and customers. The business is now an ecosystem, not just a company.
Level 9, game changer.
About 480,000 entrepreneurs here globally. About 2,600 of those are billionaires. Revenue from 100 million to billions. The break at level 9 is the legacy break.
What do I do with this much power? The question becomes about what I'm going to leave behind. What gets named after this? What changes for future generations because of it?
The unlock? Define your societal vision. Mergers and acquisitions. Get buy-in from the public and government. CSR and PR at a higher level. The business stops being a business. It becomes a vehicle for civilization.
All right, now the big one.
Where are you on this map? Right now, today, this week? Write the number down, 1 through 9. Pick one. If you're between 2, pick the lower one. The lower one is almost always the accurate one. Because the gates work that way, you're at the level until you fully completed the gate transition, not when you first start crossing it. Take a moment, take a full minute, sit with the question. All right, take a breath. And listen, I want to be really clear about something.
There is no shame in any of these levels. None.
Phase 1 is where most entrepreneurs on planet Earth sit. Phase 2 is where the most ambitious 5% get. Phase 3 is a small fraction of 1%.
Wherever you are, you're with millions of other people on the same level. Millions. You're not alone. You're not behind.
Now, and this is important, at every one of these gate transitions, there's a specific break that fires for those of us with ACE wiring. A specific one. Different break at each gate. Watch this. At the 1 to 2 gate, the hypervigilance won't let us slow down to measure. Can't pause long enough to plug the leaks. At the 2 to 3 gate, Workaholism becomes the safety pattern. Rest feels like death. Stopping feels dangerous. At the 3 to 4 gate, the trust patterns fire when we try to delegate. The "if I'm not doing it, it won't be done right" defense. We can't let go. At the 4 to 5 gate, the imposter patterns fire when we have to be visible as a leader. The "who am I to lead" loop kicks in. We shrink. At the 5 to 6 gate, the control patterns fire when the team becomes a family. Family of origin dynamics quietly replay themselves at work. At the 6 to 7 gate, the visibility break fires at the societal level. Now we have to be seen by a wider public, and the old patterns scream. At the 7 to 8 gate, the worthiness break fires when we have to hold massive public trust. At the 8 to 9 gate, the legacy break fires when we have to claim our place in history.
Different gate, different break, same person, different break.
And here's the gift of seeing it this way. Once we know which gate we're at, we know which break to expect.
And now, the thing I warned you about twice. Pay attention to this one.
This is the unlock for half the people watching. Some of us hit level 3 income while running on level 1 patterns. Some of us hit level 5 revenue while still running level 2 self-talk. Some of us have level 6 businesses while operating from level 4 fear. The income tells one story, the patterns tell another.
They don't always line up.
In fact, for those of us with ace wiring, they almost never line up. Almost never. And here's the thing. Listen carefully.
The break fires where the patterns are, not where the income is. So if your income says level 5, but your patterns are firing at level 2, your real coordinates are level 2.
The map cares about patterns, not numbers, not titles, not LinkedIn descriptions, patterns.
So hold the level you named, the actual one, the patterns one. We're going to come back to it later tonight when we overlay the second map. Your specific break lives between those two coordinates. We're going to find it.
But first, before we look at the inner map, let me show you what each of these gates actually requires. Because the break fires ate a specific gate, and the climbing tools are different at each one. Let's go into the first pillar, economic machine, and walk what each level actually needs from you. Right? All right? Let's go.
All right. So we just walked the first map. You've named your level. You've got your number.
Good. Now, before we look at the second map, I want to introduce you to the climbing system itself, the thing that actually gets you through the gates.
3 pillars.
And we're going to start with the first one, economic machine. What is economic machine? It's the outer game, the mechanics of building a business, the offer you sell, how you price it, how you market it, who you sell it to, the systems that make it scale, the team that runs it. All of that, the whole outer architecture, that's economic machine. Now look, there are 2 more pillars after this one. Mind and heart, that's the inner game, the wiring, the patterns, the 6 layers. And spirit and flow, that's the alignment between them, the deepest layer. We'll get to both, I promise, but economic machine first. Because this is where the visible work shows up. This is the stuff people see when they look at our businesses. The revenue, the customers, the offers, the team, the systems, all of it.
Right? So let's go in.
And before we go any further, I want to acknowledge something specific to this audience. Listen to this. Many of us in this niche, conscious entrepreneurs with adverse childhood experiences, we've over-indexed on inner work. We've done the certifications, the retreats, the therapy, the somatic stuff, the healing modalities, the breath work, the plant medicine, the journals.
All of it.
And many of us, and I'm including myself here, many of us have underinvested in the outer game, the economic machine side, the asking, the charging, the launching, the selling, the visibility. Now look, that's not because we're lazy. It's not because we don't care about business. Not at all. It's because the outer game requires something specific, something tender. It requires us to take up space, to ask, to charge, to send the email, to launch, to raise the price, to put ourselves out there at full volume.
And every one of those, every single one, is exactly the kind of moment Ace Wiring fires against. Every single one. Sound familiar? The freeze before sending the price raise email. The flinch before posting at full visibility. The over-explaining in sales calls. The phone response when we should be holding the line. The 24 reasons we are not ready yet. Those aren't business problems, my friend. They're wiring problems showing up at business gates. That's why this pillar matters.
And that's why we're going slow with it.
All right, first teaching.
And this one matters more than most people realize.
The offer is not the product.
Most of us in business, we build a great product, a great service, a great thing. We pour ourselves into making it good. And then we try to sell that thing. We sell the thing we built. And we don't make the sales we should. And we wonder why. And the reason why is people don't buy products. They never have. They never will. They buy the offer. The offer is the promise plus the packaging plus the perception. The product is what delivers the promise. But the offer is what the buyer is actually buying. There's a great teacher in this space, guy named Tom Young, really good at this, and he uses this line.
Listen. Sell the vacation, not the plane flight.
Does that make sense?
And here's the structure for building an offer that actually works. 5 Ps. Watch this.
Person. Who's the perfect future client? Specifically, by demographic, by psychographic, by the exact situation they're in. Pain. What's their actual headache? The one they're losing sleep over. The one that's costing them a marriage or a business or their health. Not a nice to have. The one keeping them up at 3 in the morning. Painkiller. What's the specific solution? Yours?
The thing only you can deliver in the way only you can deliver it.
Path. What's the roadmap? The journey they walk to get from where they are to where they want to be. The step by step. The week by week. Promise. What's the outcome they actually want? Not what we think they should want. Not what's noble or impressive.
What they actually want, the vacation, not the plane flight. 5 Ps, person, pain, painkiller, path, promise. That's the spine of any irresistible offer.
The product is the engine. The offer is the everything else. All right, second teaching, pricing. Now look, this one's tender for our niche. Honestly, take a breath. Many of us undercharge. We know we undercharge. We've been told we undercharge. And we still do it.
Why? Let me show you.
There are 2 ways to price. Just 2. From fear or from value. Pricing from fear sounds like this. What would someone be willing to pay? What's the market average? What can I get away with charging? Will they leave if I charge what I'm worth? Pricing from value sounds different. What's the transformation actually worth to the buyer? What does this solve for them? What does this unlock that they couldn't unlock without it? If they got the outcome, how much would it be worth? Notice the energy underneath those questions, clear, grounded, standing in what the work actually delivers. And here's the deal. Listen carefully. Most of us price from fear because the alternative, pricing from value, requires us to be seen, to name a number that reflects what we actually deliver, to stand behind that number when somebody flinches, to not negotiate down at the first sign of resistance. And ace wiring hates being seen. So we price ourselves low. We hide. We tell ourselves it's about being accessible. We tell ourselves we're being generous. But underneath, and I'm saying this with love, underneath it's often about staying safe. Pricing low is camouflage. Pricing low keeps us small. Pricing low keeps the wiring comfortable. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to charge premium prices. I'm not. There are good business reasons to price low sometimes. Building an audience, market entry, a specific strategy. I'm not prescribing the answer. What I'm saying is, let's at least know which way we're pricing, from fear or from value. So we can make the choice consciously, not from the wiring. From the wiring is automatic. Conscious is the work.
All right, third teaching, niche.
And this one is the unlock at level 1. The Pathfinder book, the book the 9 levels come from, it lists this as the single biggest game changer at the entry level. Become a specialist, specialize. Now, most of us, when we start out, we want to help everyone, right? We're scared to narrow down. Because narrowing down means turning some people away, saying, no, you're not who I serve, saying, I can't help you with that.
So we hedge, we stay vague. We say things like, I help people grow, I help people find their purpose, I help people heal.
And nobody buys, because nobody recognizes themselves. Vague positioning is the most expensive mistake we make. Specificity is what makes the offer recognizable. And here's the structure, 3 things.
Specific WHO, who do you help? Not entrepreneurs, not women, not creatives. Specifically, who? By name almost, by situation, by the exact place they're standing when they find you.
Specific outcome. What do they get? Specifically, measurably, in what time frame, with what evidence?
So they can recognize themselves in the result.
Specific mechanism. What's your specific way of getting them there? Your method, your process, your framework. The thing that makes you, you. Not the thing that makes you sound like everyone else. 3 things. Specific WHO, specific outcome, specific mechanism. Lock those in. Repel everyone else. That's repel to attract. The right people self-identify when you repel the wrong ones. The right ones see themselves clearly because you've drawn a sharp line around who you serve. The wrong ones move on. And that's the design, not the bug. I know, for our niche, that feels terrifying at first. The body says, don't turn people away, you'll be alone. Right? The childhood survival pattern speaks up loud right here. But here's the thing. Listen to this. Staying vague to keep everyone is exactly how we end up with nobody.
That's the math.
Specificity is the medicine.
All right, now let's bring it back to the map. Remember the level you named earlier tonight? Hold it.
Now I'm going to show you, gate by gate, what economic machine actually requires from you. Different gate, different tactic. Same person, different tactic. Level 1, stop bleeding. You need one niche, one offer, and the ability to measure your flow. That's it. Don't add complexity. The unlock is narrowing, always narrowing. Going from level 1 to level 2. Commit to becoming a true marketer. Hook, story, offer. Build a customer list. Follow up. The list is the business. People who know us, like us, trust us. They buy. Strangers don't. So we build the list. We earn trust over time. Going from level 2 to level 3, automate the promotions. Lock down brand and positioning. Stop being a generalist. Go specialist. One specific outcome. One specific market. Tight. Going from level 3 to level 4, start building team. Standardize into SOPs. Treat everything as a project or a process. Make payroll a thing the business can actually sustain, without you panicking at the end of every month. Going from level 4 to level 5, ensure substantial cash generation. Build systems and assistants that keep you in balance, not just the business in balance, the you in balance, and learn how to lead leaders, not just do the work yourself. Going from level 5 to level 6, invest massively in communication systems and leadership development. Build the scaffolding for the team to be independent of you. You step out, the team holds it up. Going from level 6 to level 7, manage investments professionally. Let the leadership team actually lead. Move from operator to investor, from doing to allocating. Going from level 7 to level 8, grow suppliers and customers as an ecosystem. The business isn't a company anymore. It's an ecosystem, multiple stakeholders, multiple flows. Going from level 8 to level 9, define a societal vision, mergers and acquisitions, public buy-in, government buy-in, CSR and PR at a totally different scale. Civilizational scale. Different gate, different tactic, same person. That's the whole point of the map. And the brake fires at a specific gate, which means the climbing tool has to be calibrated to that gate. Not to wherever someone else is on their map, not to wherever the YouTube algorithm thinks you should be. Your gate. All right, quick implementable for tonight before we move on. Whatever level you named, level 1, level 3, level 7, doesn't matter which one, sit down with your current offer. Write it out, or pull up the page where it lives, the sales page, the landing page, the pitch you give on a sales call, whatever it is.
And run it through the 5 Ps, one by one, just 5 questions. Person, am I clear on exactly who, by demographic, by psychographic, by situation? Pain, am I naming the specific headache they're losing sleep over?
Or am I describing pain generically? Painkiller, am I positioning the specific solution, my specific solution? Or am I positioning what everyone else is positioning? Path, is there a roadmap, a visible journey from where they are to where they want to be? Promise, am I selling the vacation or the plane flight?
Be honest. 5 questions, run them. Tonight, you can do that in a notebook, in your phone notes, in a Google Doc, in ChatGPT, whatever.
Just run the 5 questions on what you've currently got.
That's tonight's work if you want it, no pressure.
And now, speaking of running things, I want to show you something. I want to show you what happens when we run a question like this through one of the AI tools I built specifically for this work, the AI Business Strategy OS.
Let me bring it up on screen.
A real situation, real output. Let's go. Quick beat before we dive in. If you've just joined us, welcome. We've walked the outer map of the entrepreneur journey, and everyone here has named their level on it. You're right on time for the part where the AI starts doing the heavy lifting, and the replay carries everything you missed. All right, so speaking of running the question through an AI, let me show you something. The first of 3 AI tools I built specifically for this work, the AI Business Strategy OS. Let me bring it up on screen. It's an AI-powered business strategy partner built on top of Claude, Anthropic's reasoning model, strongest one out there right now. And here's what makes it different from a generic ChatGPT prompt. It synthesizes 3 layers of source material at once. 3 layers. Layer 1. The foundational business strategy frameworks made public by the top consultancies, the McKinsey playbooks, the KPMG strategy frameworks, the BCG matrices. Layer 2. The publicly available teachings of the modern entrepreneurship experts I've studied. The Hormozes, the Brunsons, the Tom Youngs, the Taki Moores. All the operators I respect in the conscious business and coaching space. Their offer design, their pricing logic, their growth models, their playbooks. Layer 3, my own 20 plus years of work. The Pathfinder. The 9-level map you just walked through. The break fire patterns. The conscious entrepreneur with adverse childhood experiences niche specifically. The way that niche climbs. 3 layers stacked together.
Now, what we're going to do is feed it a prompt that's pretty common for our audience. Watch what it does.
Listen carefully. This is the moment a lot of you are going to lean in. Now look, quick honest framing before we start.
What you're about to see is what I call a cold demo. The AI doesn't know me. It doesn't know my business. It doesn't know my history. Zero memory, zero context.
Just the prompt I'm about to type and the framework it's trained on. That's it. Cold. But the real magic happens once you've been using it. Where this same AI has your full context, built up from your own conversations with it over weeks and months. So when you ask it something, it's not answering you in the abstract. It's answering you specifically with your own story underneath the question.
That's a totally different conversation. Just hold that in mind as you watch. For now, cold. Let's see what cold can do. All right, here's the test case I want to run. Watch this.
I have a coaching business, making about $5,000 a month. I've been at this number for over a year. I feel stuck. What level am I at on the 9-level map? What's the specific break at my next gate? Generate me a 90-day scale plan. Pretty standard situation, right? Coaching business, $5,000 a month, stuck for over a year, asking the AI to diagnose the level, asking it to name the break, asking it to build a plan.
And honestly, many of us in this audience have been exactly here at some point.
Maybe even right now. So this is going to be useful for some of you. Let's see what the Strategy OS does with it. Watch closely.
And here it comes. Boom, watch what it's doing.
First thing, see how it's not just answering the question generically? Look, it's pinning the situation to the framework. It's saying, income at $5,000 a month suggests level 2, bleeding into early level 3. Notice the precision. Not you're an early stage entrepreneur. Not you're getting started. Not this is a beginner situation.
Level 2 to early level 3, the exact map we just walked through together, that's calibration.
And see this part? Listen, it's saying the language of stuck for over a year. That specific phrase, stuck for over a year, suggests the break is firing specifically at the 2 to 3 gate, the hustle harder pattern. The exact break we just talked about in the economic machine pillar.
That's not coincidence. That's not the AI guessing.
That's the AI pulling from the same framework we've been using together, the same Pathfinder logic, the same break pattern logic.
Working in real time.
Now, and watch this.
This is the part I want you to slow down on.
It names the specific break, and listen to how it names it. Notice how it's pulling from the break fire patterns we talked about, not from generic personal development language. It's not saying you have limiting beliefs. That phrase doesn't appear. It's not saying mindset blocks. It's saying the hustle harder pattern is firing, and that the climb past level 2 isn't about working harder. It's about becoming a true marketer, selling the offer, not the product. Does that sound familiar from earlier tonight?
And look at this layer, this second paragraph, the ACE wiring layer.
It's adding rest can feel dangerous, so the hustle pattern self-reinforces.
That's the wiring piece, the body piece layered in to the strategic diagnosis. That's the thing about this tool. It's not generating advice from a generic database.
It's drawing from the exact same map and teachings we've been walking together and from the McKinsey-style strategy logic, and from the modern operators in this space.
All three layers working at once, all three working together.
That's why it doesn't drift into generic. That's why it stays useful.
Because the architecture under the hood is calibrated, right? Not improvised. And then here it comes, the 90-day scale plan.
Listen, watch the structure of this. There are 3 things I want you to notice. 3 things. Pay attention. First thing, see how it's calibrated to the gate specifically? The plan to go from level 2 to level 3 looks completely different from a plan to go from level 5 to level 6. Completely different. Most AI tools, and honestly, most coaches give you generic do these 10 things lists. Same list for everyone.
This one's gate specific.
Days 1 through 30. Niche tightening. Offer rewrite using the 5 Ps. Why? Because narrowing the niche and rewriting the offer is the level 2 unlock that hasn't been completed yet. See how it's going. Back to fill in what was missed at level 1 and level 2 before pushing forward to level 3.
That's the precision.
Second thing, and this is the one that matters most for our niche. Notice, it's not just tactical, it's including the wiring work. Look at this. Days 31 through 60. Yes, lead magnet. Yes, follow-up sequence. The tactics. But also, look at this. The break release. The body work for the hustle pattern specifically. 1 daily 20-minute nervous system regulation practice. Somatic experiencing, breathwork, or vagal toning. The practice is in the plan. That's because the AI knows for our niche, the tactic alone doesn't work without the break release. So, the plan is integrated, inner work and outer work in the same plan, both held in the same hand. The integration is the medicine. Remember, from the reframe at the top of tonight, same principle, different application. Third thing, see how it's giving milestones, not just tasks. Tasks fail, tasks pile up, tasks become a to-do list nobody finishes. Milestones, those work differently. Days 61 through 90, scale the marketing engine. Milestone, monthly revenue trending upward. Plus, and this is the part I love, the hustle pattern noticeably less reactive. Measurable, trackable, both axes, outer measure, inner measure, together. Tasks fail, milestones succeed. That's how a real plan works.
That's about a minute of work for the AI, cold, with no context on me whatsoever. Zero knowledge of me as a person.
Imagine what it does when it actually knows you.
All right, so what you just saw was the cold version. The AI had nothing on me, no history, no context, no memory of any prior conversation. Zero. And it still did that.
Once I've been using it over time, this same AI has my full context. It knows what I tried last month. It knows what worked. It knows my niche. It knows my offer. It knows the conversation I had with IT 3 weeks ago. Because I've been talking to it directly in my own account. Not because it's watching the community. Not because it's reading anyone else. Just me and the tool in my own history with it.
That's the difference. Cold demo versus warm demo, both useful. The warm one is dramatically more powerful. Just stating the fact, not selling. So that's the AI Business Strategy OS. We're going to come back to this tool's 2 siblings later in the masterclass. The AI Quantum Growth Coach for inner state work. That's coming up after the next map. And the AI Vision Weaver for the alignment piece. That one's near the end.
But for now, listen. We just walked the first map. The entrepreneur journey. We just walked the first pillar. Economic machine. And we've just seen the AI Business Strategy OS in action. So you got the outer game in your hand, the outer axis locked. Time to look at the inner game, the inner axis. Let's go to the second map, the 9 levels on the mindfulness journey. Because here's the thing, your coordinates aren't on one map, they're on 2. And the break fires between the 2 coordinates. Let's go find your second axis. All right? The second map, the inner one, the 9 levels on the mindfulness journey. This map comes from a much older tradition, the Buddhist tradition of shamatha. The word shamatha means calm abiding, mind that has come to rest. What I've done is adapt the language a little, pull it into a form that maps onto the entrepreneur journey we just walked. So when we overlay the 2 maps later tonight, both axes are real. Both have been walked by millions of people. Both work. And before we walk the levels, here's the central principle of the inner map, the most important teaching in this whole section. I want you to write this one down. Listen. Progress is not measured by never getting distracted. Progress is measured by recovery speed, how fast you notice you've wandered, and how fast you come back.
That's the whole game. Every time we notice and return, that's a rep. That's how the muscle builds.
So if your mind wanders during meditation, and it will, congratulations. That's exactly when the work happens. All right, 3 phases, 9 levels, same shape as the outer map, but the terrain is completely different. Let's walk it. Phase 1, the chaotic beginning, plus the first patches of stability, levels 1 through 3.
This is where everyone starts.
Everyone.
Buddha started here, Jesus started here, Krishna started here, I started here.
You started here, or you're starting here right now.
All right, let's walk the 3 levels. Level 1, placement. You're just beginning.
At level 1, the mind wanders constantly. You can barely hold attention on the breath for a few seconds before you're off into a thought. And here's how it feels. Let me paint you the picture. In the traditional framework, the mind is symbolized as an elephant. At level 1, it's a dark elephant. Big, dark, heavy. And here's the kicker. The elephant doesn't even know you're there. You're chasing behind it, and it's completely ignoring you. And there's a monkey leading it. The monkey is the monkey of distraction, bouncing all over the place. The elephant follows the monkey follows whatever's bright. And you're trailing behind both of them, breathless, trying to keep up.
Sound familiar? And here's the most important thing about level 1. Pay attention to this.
It's not failure. It's not weakness. It's not you can't meditate. It's where everyone starts. The chaos is the starting condition, not the problem. Most of us, when we sit down to meditate for the first time, we get a few seconds of focus, then 5 minutes of wandering. Then we conclude, I can't meditate. My mind is too busy. This isn't for me.
And we stop. But what we've actually done is we've seen what was always happening underneath.
Meditation didn't create the chaos. It revealed it. So if you've concluded you can't meditate, you can. You just met yourself for the first time. That's all. Level 2, continual placement. Now something starts to shift. You can hold attention for longer periods. Still mostly lost in thought, sure, let's be honest. But you're starting to catch the wandering. The capacity is building, slowly, reliably. And here's what ACE wiring does at the 1 to 2 gate. Listen, hypervigilance makes sitting still feel dangerous. The body learned somewhere along the way that stillness equals exposure. That if we stopped scanning, something bad would happen. That's not a meditation problem. That's a wiring problem showing up at a meditation gate, right?
Same pattern, different surface.
And here's the work at level 2. Just keep going. Don't extend the duration yet. Don't add complexity. Don't try fancy techniques. Just keep practicing. Catch, return, catch, return, catch, return.
The rep is the thing.
Boring is good here. Boring means the muscle is building.
Level 3, patch-like placement.
And now, something really starts to shift. You get patches of real stability. Mixed in with the wandering, sure. The wandering doesn't disappear yet. And once you've felt the patch, once you've actually felt that quiet underneath the noise, You know it's possible. You can't unknow it.
What ace wiring does at the 2 to 3 gate, listen, the inner critic wakes up. Every wander gets judged.
The judgment is brutal. And it's also automatic. We didn't choose to hold ourselves to that standard. The wiring did. That's the break at this gate, not lack of practice. Self-judgment. Different break, same person, different break. But level 3 is the entry to something much bigger, the first foothill of a real mountain. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it at the next level.
All right? Same move as the outer map. Type your inner level in the chat, 1 through 9. And this one, be even more honest. Nobody can see your screen, but you know.
Good. You now have 2 numbers. Hold them both. Later tonight, they meet. All right. Phase 2. The shift plus growing mastery. Levels 4 through 6. Level 4, close placement. Your attention is more stable now. Still requires effort to hold. You're not coasting yet.
Don't think you've made it.
But something profound happens at level 4. The elephant, that dark elephant from level 1 that didn't even know you were there, it turns around. It notices you. The monkey of distraction, that frenetic little creature that's been leading the show, it notices you. And here's why level 4 is the most important moment in the whole inner journey. Listen carefully. When the internal elements start looking at you, when you can feel that the relationship has changed, the tide has turned.
You're no longer just chasing.
You're in relationship with your own mind. From here on, every level is climbing up into mastery. You're not just trying to catch up anymore. The fundamental dynamic has flipped. And here's what ace wiring does at the 3 to 4 gate. The big one. The gate of all gates for our niche. Listen carefully. As mindfulness deepens, as the practice gets quieter, the body starts surfacing what it's been holding all these years. The patterns, the grief, the body memories, the childhood material we've been carrying without knowing. And many of us flee.
But the break is still there. We just stopped looking at it. That's called spiritual bypass. And listen, there's no shame in it. None.
Most of us have done it. I've done it multiple times.
It's a checkpoint a lot of us hit, not a sin some of us commit. Naming it is the first step past it.
So I'm naming it here, out loud, for all of us. Level 5, tumming. The mind is becoming trainable. Distractions get recognized quickly. The elephant, finally, is starting to walk where you point.
The chase is over.
But now the rabbit becomes the main challenge, subtle dullness. Subtle dullness feels a lot like calm, a lot. The work at level 5 is learning to distinguish bright, clear attention from peaceful, foggy attention. And what ace wiring does at the 4 to 5 gate. Important one. Dissociation patterns can disguise themselves as advanced practice. Listen to this. Many ace survivors, many of us, are unusually good at dissociating. We've been dissociating since childhood. We are experts at it. And we can sit in peaceful dullness for hours, looking very enlightened from the outside,
while actually not being present at all. Level 6 pacification.
Now, resistance to practice diminishes. The mind cooperates more fully. The gross obstacles, the loud thoughts, the bored mind, the body itch, the leg ache, those are mostly handled. Done.
What ace wiring does at the 5 to 6 gate. The ego starts fighting dissolution.
Listen. As the practice deepens, the false self, the one built from the survival patterns, the one that learned to stay small back in 1987, that false self senses what's coming. It senses that it's about to be unwound, and resistance can spike here.
Hard.
Different gate, same defense, different surface. If you just recognized yourself somewhere in that phase, type the word breaks in the chat. Just that word.
Watch that chat for a moment. That's the point. It was never just you.
Phase 3. Near mastery to complete liberation. Level 7, 8, 9. Now look, most of us aren't here. Most of us are nowhere close to here. And that's okay. Genuinely okay. Level 7. Full pacification. Even subtle distractions don't derail us anymore. The mind is quite stable. Some effort still required to enter the deep states, but deep concentration is reliably accessible.
What ace wiring does at the 6 to 7 gate?
The question, who am I without my patterns, becomes unavoidable. An identity crisis can spike here. Level 8. Single-pointed placement. Attention is sustained with minimal effort. Very subtle dullness is the only remaining challenge. And even that's mostly handled. The elephant is trained. We barely need to direct it anymore. It walks where we walk, without instruction. What ace wiring does at the 7 to 8 gate, the last grip of the false self begins releasing. There can be a kind of grief at this gate.
That grief is part of the work, not a deviation from it.
Level 9, complete mastery. And here's the colorful name I use for this one. Don't judge me. Listen. Unfuckwithable. Mental stability that requires no effort, no discipline. The trained elephant carries you now. Spontaneous attention.
The false self has died. The true self has arisen.
This is what Buddha pointed to, Jesus pointed to, Krishna pointed to, Lao Tzu pointed to, Rumi pointed to. All of them, same destination, different vocabularies. The unveiling of our inherent nature, which has been covered by conditioning the whole time. And listen, most of us aren't going to live at level 9, maybe ever. I'm not at level 9. I'm telling you, let's not pretend. But the destination is real. People have walked there. People are walking there right now. And the direction matters, even if we never arrive at the destination. Even glimpses of level 9, and there are glimpses even at lower levels, change everything. The glimpses change how we walk. Now, let's locate you on the map.
All right, here's the big one, the second one.
Where are you on this map, inner level?
Right now.
Not where you were 10 years ago when you started meditating. Not where you wish you were. Not where your retreat teacher said you were. Right now, today.
Write the number down, 1 through 9.
Same rule as before. If you're between two levels, pick the lower one. The lower one is almost always the accurate one. Take a moment, take a full minute, sit with the question.
All right, take a breath.
Now, here's something I've noticed. Watching this niche for 25 years, watching coaches, healers, conscious entrepreneurs, watching the over-informed inner work community.
Specifically those of us with ace wiring.
Most of us, and I mean most of us, we tend to sit somewhere around level 2 to level 3 on the mindfulness map. And then we plateau, we park there.
Sometimes for decades.
And here's why. Listen carefully. To go past level 3 into level 4, two things have to happen. 1, we have to sit with the rabbit, subtle dullness. And the rabbit feels so much like calm that many of us think we've made it. 2, and this is the bigger one for our niche. Level 4 onwards requires us to face what mindfulness practice is actually surfacing. Many of us, listen, Many of us get to level 3, hit the wall of what's coming up next, and unconsciously check out. We don't say to ourselves, I'm fleeing. We just gradually meditate less. Or we switch modalities. Or we get really into a different teacher. Or we conclude that we've gotten what we needed. Or all of the above.
That's the spiritual bypass trap.
And I want to name it directly because it's costing this niche more than almost anything else. We use meditation to avoid the business. We use the cushion to avoid the work. But the break doesn't go away, my friend. The break is just waiting for us to come back. Anyone seeing themselves here?
I'm asking gently. Take a breath. Be honest.
It's not a failure. It's not a moral problem. It's just a checkpoint a lot of us hit. Now, quick run through what ACE wiring does at each mindfulness gate transition. The 8 breaks. At the 1 to 2 gate, hypervigilance won't let us sit still. The body refuses to settle. At the 2 to 3 gate, the inner critic wakes up and judges every wander. I should be better at this by now. At the 3 to 4 gate, the big one, the body starts surfacing what it's been holding. And many of us flee back to safer modalities.
Spiritual bypass lives here.
At the 4 to 5 gate, subtle dullness becomes the new hiding place. Dissociation disguised as advanced practice. At the 5 to 6 gate, the ego starts fighting dissolution. The false self defends its territory. At the 6 to 7 gate, the question, who am I without my patterns, becomes unavoidable. Identity crisis. At the 7 to 8 gate, the false self starts releasing. Grief for who we used to be. At the 8 to 9 gate, even the practitioner identity drops, the last attachment. Each gate has its own break. Each gate has its own door.
All right, hold this level, the one you just named on the inner map. We're going to overlay it with your business level, the one you named earlier tonight, very soon now.
And here's what's going to happen. Listen.
Your specific break, the one that's been firing for years.
That break lives between those 2 coordinates, outer level, inner level.
Where they meet, that's where the break is, and we're going to find it tonight. You're going to see something on the overlay that I've never shown publicly before.
Not on YouTube, not in a workshop, not in any of my books. The first time anywhere. Most of us in this niche, those of us with ACE wiring, we cluster in a very specific quadrant of the 9x9 grid, a very specific one.
And the moment we see ourselves there, the moment the dot lands on the grid,
the shame of I'm uniquely broken starts to dissolve. Because we realize we're not uniquely anything, we're exactly where ACE wiring puts most of us. A cluster of people, together, on the same patch of the map. And from there, the climbing system actually starts to make sense. But before we get to the overlay, before we even talk about the climbing system or the second AI tool, let me teach you the second pillar, mind and heart, the inner game. Let's go.
All right, second pillar, mind and heart.
Where the first pillar was, offers and pricing a niche, the outer architecture, the visible stuff. This one is the inner architecture. Beliefs, emotions, self-concept, fear, identity, everything that runs underneath the action. And the name, mind and heart, that's intentional. It's not just cognitive. It's not just emotional. It's both. The mind handles the stories we tell ourselves. The heart handles what we actually feel. And they're working together or against each other every minute of every day. You can't fix the mind alone. You can't fix the heart alone.
They're nested.
And this pillar, listen, this is what Map 2, the mindfulness journey, is actually training us in. The map shows us where we are on the inner journey. This pillar shows us how to climb each gate of it.
So let's go in.
Now look, here's something specific to this audience, the opposite of what we said about pillar 1. If the first pillar, economic machine, was the one most of us in this niche underdeveloped, this one, mind and heart, is the opposite. Many of us have heavily invested here. The certifications, the retreats, the therapy, the somatic work, the shelves full of self-help books, the journals, the breathwork, the plant medicine, the masterminds with healers, the vipassanas, the teacher trainings, you name it. If it's been inner work in the last 20 years, many of us have done it. And honestly, we've gone wide. Many of us have done a little bit of everything. But here's the catch. Most of us have not gone deep in any single one. We've stayed at level 2 or 3 of the mindfulness journey. Remember that map? And we've stayed at level 2 or 3 of any specific modality. Wide, not deep. Eclectic, but not embodied. That's why, even with all the inner work, the brake's still firing. And there's another layer to this. Listen carefully. Many of us use inner work to avoid outer work. The cushion as escape hatch. The retreat as a way to not look at the business. The certification as a deferred launch.
We'll come back to that, but it's worth naming out loud so we can see it together. All right, first teaching of this pillar, fear. Because fear is the gatekeeper at every gate of the inner map. And honestly, at every gate of the outer map too. Fear is everywhere, so we need to understand it properly. And here's the key distinction. Listen, there are 2 kinds of fear. Fear as information and fear as bouncer. Let me unpack that.
Fear as information is what happens when the body genuinely notices something real. A real threat, a real warning, a real signal from the present moment. The body is saying, pay attention to this. There's something here, something now. Fear as bouncer is different, completely different. Fear as bouncer is the conditioned reflex that fires from the wiring. It's not noticing something real right now. It's reacting to a pattern from before, from childhood, from a moment when the threat was real and isn't anymore. And here's the catch for those of us with ACE wiring. Most of the daily fear that fires in us, most of it is fear as bouncer, not fear as information. The freeze before sending the price raise email, bouncer. The flinch before posting at full volume, bouncer. The launch paralysis at the threshold of visibility, bouncer. The I'm not ready yet, bouncer. So here's the practice. When fear fires, and it will, ask yourself one question, just one.
Information or bouncer?
That's it. That's the whole question. Don't decide yet. Don't try to fix it yet. Just ask. Just diagnose. And honestly, with a little practice, most of us can feel the difference. Information feels like attention. Bouncer feels like contraction. Different signals, different textures, different bodies almost.
All right, second teaching. And this one's going to feed right into the AI coach demo coming up next. So pay attention.
The nested 6 layers of a human being. Now look, most psychology and most mindset work assumes a human being is basically just thoughts and feelings. That's it. Just one layer. Thoughts, feelings. So they work at that one layer.
And that's fine for some things. But here's the truth. A human being is way bigger than that. We're nested. We're multi-layered. And if we only work at the thoughts and feelings layer, we miss most of what's actually running the show. So here are the 6 layers. I'll walk you through them. Watch the diagram. This framework comes from a Vedanta-inspired tradition that I've been refining for years now.
We start from the most visible, the outermost layer, and we move into the deepest, 6 layers. Layer 6, the stuff around us. Vastu, the environment, the objects, the home, the office, the desk, the phone, everything physical around us. Layer 5, the physical body, the actual body, bones, muscles, skin, organs, nervous system. Where felt sensations live, where body memory is stored, where the wiring physically resides. Layer 4, the heart-mind, thoughts and feelings, the level most psychology operates at, the level most mindset work operates at, the level we know best, the level the YouTube algorithm constantly feeds us content about. Layer 3, the life force, prana, the energetic body, the breath, the flow, the vitality, the thing the yogic traditions and the Taoist traditions point to. Layer 2, the transcendental void, pure potential, the space everything arises from, formless. Layer 1, consciousness, source, pure awareness itself, the deepest layer, the truth of who we are underneath everything else. Now, here's why this matters for blocks, specifically for our work. Listen carefully. When most of us have a block, the undercharging, the freeze, the launch paralysis, the inner critic loop, we try to fix it at layer 4, the thoughts and feelings layer. We work the mindset. We reframe the belief. We say affirmations. We try to think our way out. And we get a little movement, a little sometimes, but the block keeps firing. Why? Because the block doesn't live primarily at layer 4. For most of us with ACE wiring, the block lives at layer 3, the life force layer, the nervous system pattern, and at layer 5, the physical body, where the body memory is stored.
Mindset work at layer 4 doesn't reach layer 3, and it doesn't reach layer 5. So the block stays put, and we wonder why all the mindset work isn't working.
So the practice isn't to abandon mindset work. It's to stop treating mindset work as the whole game. Mindset is 1 layer out of 6. There are 5 more. Each one needs its own kind of work. The teaching, the inner critic.
And this one, listen, this one is the most universal pattern for our specific niche. The most universal. Almost every single one of us has it.
The voice in the head that judges every move. The voice that says, "You should have done that already." Or, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "You're going to fail and embarrass yourself." Or, "You're not ready yet. You need more training." Or, and this is the worst one,
"Hey, you're broken."
that voice. Now, here's what's important to understand about the inner critic. Listen carefully. For most of us with ACE wiring, the inner critic wasn't always ours. It wasn't. It was originally a voice we picked up from a parent, from a teacher, from a culture, from a family system that needed something specific from us. We internalized that voice as a way of staying safe, anticipating what they would judge us for, so we could preemptively judge ourselves and avoid their judgment. Make sense? It was a survival adaptation. Brilliant, actually, for a 6-year-old. It's an old survival adaptation that's outlived its original use. The room is empty. The judge is gone. The critic keeps reading the verdict anyway. And here's the loop. Listen, watch this on screen. The inner critic fires. We feel shame, we hide, or we contract. We don't take the action. The post, the price raise, the launch, the email. We freeze, we delay. We tell ourselves we're not ready yet. And then, and this is the cruel part, the inner critic uses our inaction as the next piece of evidence.
So here's the practice. 2 parts. Listen carefully.
First, when the critic fires, ask, whose voice is this actually? Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just identify the source. Often the answer surprises us. The critic sounds like a specific person from our past. A parent, a teacher, a coach, a bully. Sometimes a composite. Naming the source is the first step to taking its power back. Second part, separate the critic from yourself. The critic is a part you picked up. It's not you. The you underneath the critic, that's the one who's been listening to the critic all these years.
You're not the critic.
You're the one who's been trying not to be the critic. Different role entirely, completely different. Once we feel that separation, even briefly, the loop loses some of its grip. The critic doesn't stop, but we hear it differently. All right, now let's bring it back to the map. Map 2, the mindfulness journey. Same as we did with the outer map. Let me walk you through what each gate actually requires from mind and heart work. Different gate, different practice, same person, different practice. Level 1, placement, needs simple commitment. That's it. Daily practice, same time, same anchor. Doesn't matter how chaotic the practice feels, the work is showing up. Reps build the muscle. Boring is good. Going from level 1 to level 2, the work is sitting through the hypervigilance. The body wants to bolt. We stay, we breathe, we let the elephant settle a little. We don't try to force it, we just don't run. Going from level 2 to level 3, the work is letting the inner critic do its thing without believing it. The critic will judge every wander, every breath that goes wrong, every distraction. We just notice it judging and return. Notice, return. The judgment loses power when we stop arguing with it. Going from level 3 to level 4, the big one. The work is sitting with what surfaces. The grief, the body memory, the childhood material, the unprocessed stuff. This is where most of us need real support. A therapist, a guide, a community. Doing this alone is hard. This is also where the AI coach earns its keep, and it's the gate the AI quantum growth coach is most calibrated for. We're about to see it work on this exact gate in the next section. Going from level 4 to level 5, the work is distinguishing bright, clear attention from foggy dullness. Vivid awareness, not pleasant fog. The rabbit catches a lot of us here. The trick is asking, am I bright or am I just calm? Different signals. Going from level 5 to level 6, the work is sitting with the ego's resistance to dissolution, letting the false self get smaller without panicking about it. The ego will scream. We let it scream. We don't make it stop. Going from level 6 to level 7, the work is identity. Who am I without these patterns? We sit with the question. We don't rush for an answer. Sometimes the question lives in us for months before any answer comes. That's okay. That's the work. Going from level 7 to level 8, the work is letting effort itself become effortless, not forcing relaxation, allowing it. Subtle distinction, big difference. Going from level 8 to level 9, the work is the final release, the unveiling, the trained elephant carrying us. Effort merges with effortlessness. That's the gate to unfuckwithable. All right, quick take home for tonight. 3 questions, just 3. First, when fear fires today, this week, whenever, to ask. Information or bouncer, just ask. Don't decide yet, just notice. Second, when the inner critic fires, and it will ask, whose voice is this actually? Same thing, just ask. Naming is the practice. Third, and this one's bigger, pick one block you're currently working on. One, just one. And ask, which layer is this living at? Layer 4, thoughts and feelings? Or is it deeper? Layer 3, the life force? Or further out, layer 5, the body? Just diagnose, don't fix yet. 3 questions. That's tonight's inner game work. You don't even need a notebook for this one, just attention, just curiosity. And now, as speaking of the AI coach earning its keep at the level 3 to 4 gate, I want to show you the second AI tool. The AI Quantum Growth Coach, different from the Business Strategy OS, different scope, different calibration, different job. Because the diagnostic work we just walked through, the 6 layers, the fear distinction, the inner critic source, this AI does it with you in real time, on a real block.
Let me bring it up.
All right, speaking of the AI coach earning its keep at the level 3 to 4 gate, let me show you the second AI tool, the AI Quantum Growth Coach.
This is the inner game one. Different from the Strategy OS, different job. Let me bring it up on screen.
The coach is built on top of Claude, same as the Strategy OS. But where the Strategy OS draws from the consultancy frameworks and the modern entrepreneurship experts and my work, 3 layers, this coach is trained primarily on my work. 20 plus years of it. Over 1,500 files of teachings, every single one of the 324 techniques in the techniques library, the clarity method, the 6-layer model we just walked through, the mindfulness journey, the break fire patterns specific to ACE wiring. So when it answers, it's answering from my work, with my frameworks, with my specific calibration for our niche, different scope than the Strategy OS, different toolkit, different job. And what it does is, it acts as your inner state diagnostic. You bring it a block, a fear, a freeze, a pattern, a loop, something you're stuck on, and it diagnoses what's actually happening, across which layers, at which mindfulness level, what specific practice from the library would dissolve it.
And listen, it works in voice mode too. You can literally just talk to it out loud while you're driving, while you're folding laundry, while you're walking the dog at 6 in the morning. Voice in, voice out. Same coach, hands-free. But for this demo, I'll use text mode, so you can read the responses on screen along with me. Same setup as before, call demo. The coach doesn't know me, no memory, no prior conversations, 0 context. Just the framework it's trained on and the prompt I'm about to give it.
Once you've been working with it over time, the coach has the full history with you. Every conversation you've had with it, every win you've shared with it, every block you've worked through together, every breakthrough, every recurring pattern that's surfaced between just you and the coach. And that context completely changes what it can offer. The diagnostics sharpen. The recommendations get specific to your actual journey, not generic. To be crystal clear, the coach is not watching the community. It's not reading anyone else's conversations. It's your own one-on-one history with the tool, deepening over time. But even cold, watch this.
All right, here's the prompt I'm going to give it. And honestly, this is a real thing. I've heard some version of this from members of the community probably 100 times, maybe more. Watch.
I know I need to raise my prices. I've known for months, but every single time I open the email to send the new rate to a client, my body freezes. I close the laptop. I tell myself, I'll do it tomorrow. I've done mindset work. I've read the books. Nothing is shifting. What's actually happening here? Happening. Now, quick framing note about the coach. This is key. The coach has two modes. Coach mode is the default and it's the heart of this tool. Coach mode uses what's called the lead framework. Listen, empower, ask, deliver. Which means the coach asks you powerful questions to draw your own wisdom out, not give you generic advice. Consultant mode is also there for when you want a direct framework answer right away, one tap apart. But coach mode is the default. And it's what we're showing you here, because it's the main strength of this tool.
Watch what the coach just did, or rather, watch what it did not do.
First, see how it did not diagnose? It didn't say, this is a layer 3 break. It didn't pull a framework. It didn't recommend a technique. None of that. Instead, look at this, it reflected. Read with me. You've known for months. The body's been answering for months, and the months are stacking. That's just the coach mirroring back what the user said, letting the user feel heard before anything else happens. That's the L in lead. Listen first. And then, watch the move. It asks a question, not a generic question, a precise, powerful question.
When the body freezes, if that freeze could speak, not loudly, just whisper, what would it be saying?
Read that again. The coach is treating the freeze as a messenger, not a problem to solve, a messenger with information. And it's asking the user, you, what is the freeze saying? Because the coach trusts that you already know. Somewhere in you. The coach's job isn't to figure it out for you. The coach's job is to ask the question that makes the answer surface in you. This is lead in action. Listen. First, empower. Trust the user's inner wisdom. Ask. The question that surfaces the wisdom. The coach is doing exactly that from the very first response. No diagnosis, no framework, just precise questions. The user takes a moment, sits with the question, and then types their answer. Watch.
It's saying, if I send this and the client says no, I'll have nothing. I'll be broke. I'll have made the wrong choice.
Look at what just happened. The user discovered something in their own words. The freeze isn't about the rate. The freeze is about survival, about being broke, about making the wrong choice. That's the actual fear under the surface. And the coach didn't tell the user that. The user surfaced it themselves by being asked the right question. Now watch the coach's next move. It reflects what the user said, names the deeper layer they just touched, and then goes deeper. When you were learning how to make money, way back at the start, what was the rule you had to follow to survive? Not the rule you were taught, the rule you actually lived by.
See the move? The coach is taking the user back to the origin, to the rule that wired the response. Because the body that's freezing now is the same body that learned a rule a long time ago, the rule that kept the user safe. The coach is hunting for the rule.
And again, the coach isn't telling the user the rule. The coach is asking the user to name it themselves. The user takes a longer pause this time and then types something they probably haven't said out loud to anyone in years.
Don't be greedy. Don't ask for too much. people will turn on you if they think you're after money.
That right there, that's the rule. That's what the body's been loyally protecting all these years. Not a limiting belief, not a mindset block. A survival rule. The kind that kept the user safe somewhere a long time ago. And the user just named it out loud, in their own words, for maybe the first time ever. Now watch the coach's response. 3 things happen here. Let me walk through each. First, the coach reflects what the user just named. Listen. The rule wasn't raise your prices. The rule was don't be the one who asks for too much or you'll lose people. Your body isn't dysfunctional. It's loyally protecting the rule that kept you safe a long time ago. See the reframe? Your body isn't dysfunctional. It's loyally protecting. The coach just took everything the user thought was broken about themselves and recast it as protective, as wise, as serving the user. That's empowerment. That's the E in lead. Second, the coach asks one more question, a reframing question, not a diagnostic question, a question designed to loosen the rule's grip. If asking for the new rate isn't about being greedy, if it's about the value you've already delivered and what's fair for the work going forward, does the rule still apply?
That's the question that does the work. The user can sit with it. They don't have to answer in the moment. But the question is now living in them. It's doing its work even when they're not consciously thinking about it.
And third, this is the move that's so distinctive about this coach. It asks permission before delivering anything more. If you'd like, when you've sat with it, I can share the framework that maps what's happening here. The 6-layer model. It can give you a structure for the next step. Want some time first, or shall I share? The coach offers to share the framework, but asks permission, doesn't force it, doesn't assume the user is ready, respects the user's pace. That's the D in lead, deliver. Sparingly, only when invited. So look at what just happened across these 3 exchanges. The coach helped the user find their own rule. The user did the actual inner work. The coach just held the space and asked the right questions in the right order, and then only offered to share the framework that could give the user structure for what's next. That's coaching, real coaching, not advice, not diagnosis, not techniques pushed at the user. The user's own wisdom drawn out by the right question at the right moment. This is the heart of the coach, the questions it asks, the wisdom it draws out of you. Imagine what it does when it actually knows you. After 6 months of conversations, knowing your patterns, knowing your story, the questions get even sharper. The reflections get even more precise.
All right, that's the AI Quantum Growth Coach, cold. No history with the user, pulled from the framework alone.
Once a user's been working with it over weeks and months, the coach knows them. Every conversation they've had with it, every breakthrough, every recurring pattern, every block worked through together, just between them and the coach in their own account. And the diagnostics get even sharper. The practice recommendations get more specific, the path gets more precise. But even cold, you can see the shape of what it does. The architecture is there. All right, so now you've seen both AI tools, the Strategy OS for the outer game, the Quantum Growth Coach for the inner game, 2 tools, 2 pillars, 2 diagnostic engines. You've walked both maps, the entrepreneur journey, the mindfulness journey. You've named your level on each. You're holding two numbers right now, outer level, inner level. And now, listen, now we do the thing I've been promising you since the very beginning of the masterclass. We overlay the two maps, your specific coordinates, the exact quadrant most of us in this niche tend to sit in, the break fire pattern between your two coordinates.
Let's go.
All right? Before this next part, stand up, I mean it. Stand up, shake it out, refill the water. Take 30 seconds, don't go far. Because when we come back, we take your two numbers and put them together on one grid. And that is the part everything tonight has been building toward.
All right, welcome back.
And if you've just joined us, honestly, perfect timing. Everyone here is holding two numbers, an outer level and an inner level. The replay will hand you yours. What happens next needs both.
All right, this is the moment.
The one I told you about at the top of tonight, the one I've been teasing all the way through, the overlay.
Watch this.
You've named your level on the outer map, the entrepreneur journey, earlier tonight. You've named your level on the inner map, the mindfulness journey, about 30 minutes ago. So right now, listen, you're holding two numbers. Two coordinates, two axes, two answers, two halves of one question. And here's the thing. Most of us, when we think about where we are, we think about one axis, just one, either our income level or our spiritual level. Either the business is going well or it isn't. Either we're doing the inner work or we aren't. We don't think about the relationship between the two. But the break, the actual break, the one that's been firing for years, the one we've spent thousands of dollars trying to dissolve, doesn't live on one axis. It lives in the gap between the two, in the misalignment between outer and inner. And until we can see that misalignment, really see it on a grid with our own coordinates plotted, we can't dissolve it. Today, you're gonna see it. So here's what we're about to do. 3 steps. Watch. Step 1, we're going to put the two maps together, side by side. Step 2, we're going to overlay them. Make one grid out of two journeys. Step 3, we're going to find your specific cell on that grid. 81 cells total. 9 times 9. One of them is yours.
Let's go. Watch what happens when we put them together. Slowly, watch the animation.
The outer journey, the entrepreneur map, goes along the horizontal axis. Level 1 on the left, level 9 on the right. Income climbing, team scaling, the whole outer journey laid flat. The inner journey, the mindfulness map, goes along the vertical axis. Level 1 at the bottom, level 9 at the top, from chaos at the base to unfuckwithable at the peak. And when we lay them on top of each other,
we get an 81 cell grid.
81 cells, 81 possible combinations of where someone could be sitting right now on this planet, doing this work, climbing this exact thing. Your cell, yours specifically, is the intersection of the two levels you named. The outer level you named about 2 hours ago, and the inner level you named just a little while ago. where they meet. That's you. That's where you are. Right now. Find your cell. Go ahead. Find your cell on this grid. Look at the x-axis. Find your outer level. Look at the y-axis. Find your inner level. Trace the lines. Where they cross. That's the cell. Take a moment. Take a full minute. Find it. Sit with it. All right, take a breath. Got it? Got your cell? Hold that cell. Hold the actual position you just located on the grid. Don't move off it. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something about that cell, something specific. That's going to change how you've been thinking about your stuckness.
Forever.
Now look at this. Here, right here. This quadrant. Outer levels 5 to 6. Inner levels 2 to 3. That 4-cell zone right there with the soft glow on it.
That's where the vast majority of ACE survivor entrepreneurs sit. Most of us. The vast majority. I've been mapping this for years across hundreds of conversations, hundreds of intake calls, hundreds of community members. And the pattern keeps showing up. Same 4 cells, over and over, across people who've never met each other, from completely different industries, different ages, different cultures, same cluster.
And that cluster has a signature, a specific texture. Listen, high external achievement, lower inner integration. That's the signature. That's the texture of those 4 cells. Outer level 5 or 6. The business is working, really working. There's revenue. There's a team, or at least solid contractors. The achievement is real. From the outside, we look successful. We've actually done the thing. Multi-6 figures, sometimes 7 figures. Real. Inner level 2 or 3. You've meditated. You've done some inner work. Sometimes a lot of inner work. You can sometimes calm yourself. You can catch the wandering. You've had a few patches of real stability. But you haven't reached level 4 of the mindfulness journey yet. The shift level. The level where the inner elements start looking back at you. The level where the deep wiring actually surfaces. And many of us in this audience are sitting in that exact cluster right now, as I'm talking, as I say these words. And here's what I want you to hear, loud and clear. Listen carefully. This isn't because you're uniquely broken. It's not because you're failing at the inner work. It's not because you're not spiritual enough. It's not because you've been doing it wrong. It's not because something is structurally defective about you. It's because ACE wiring drives both patterns simultaneously, same wiring, opposite effects on the 2 maps. The hypervigilance from ACE wiring drives us up the outer map, the overfunctioning, the perfectionism, the I have to do it myself defense. Those make us productive, successful even. They drive us to level 5 and level 6 of business. Sometimes faster than the people without our wiring. But the same wiring, the body's distrust of stillness, the inner critic, the fear of what's underneath, the dissociation patterns, keeps us lower on the inner map. We can't sit still long enough to climb past level 3. We can't bear what surfaces at the 4 to 5 gate. We use practice to bypass instead of integrate.
Same wiring, opposite effects. You're not the only one. You're not even unusual. You're exactly where ACE wiring puts most of us.
The shame loop you've been carrying, I should be further by now. Something must be wrong with me. Why can't I just close the gap? That loop loses its footing right here. And here's the thing about the brake. Listen carefully. The brake doesn't fire because we're at level 5 on the outer. It doesn't fire because we're at level 2 on the inner. It fires because of the gap between them, the misalignment. The bigger the gap, the harder the brake fires. That's the mechanic right there. That's the diagnostic principle. Let me show you what I mean. Watch the grid. I'm going to light up 4 specific patterns, 4 cells, 4 different versions of misalignment. See if you recognize yourself in any of them. Pattern 1, outer level 5, inner level 2. The high output founder running on hustle. The business is impressive. 6 figures, sometimes mid 6 figures. The body is exhausted, has been for years. The brake fires every time we try to slow down. Because slowing down means feeling the gap, means feeling the body that's been pushing through for years. So we don't slow down. We just keep producing. Output, output, output until the body stops us. Burnout, collapse, the 4 a.m. panic. Same pattern, different person every time. Pattern 2, outer level 3, inner level 5. The practitioner with deep peace, no business, beautiful inner state, really beautiful. They can sit, they can feel. They've done the work.
Pattern 3, outer level 6, inner level 2.
The scaled business, the fragile founder, the successful but secretly miserable pattern. This one is the one that broke me, pretty much exactly. I sat in this cell for years. Outer 6, inner 2, bestseller, successful film, speaking engagements, and inside, fragile, exhausted, drowning. The kind of drowning where everyone looking from the outside thinks you're swimming. Everyone looking at the business sees success. Inside, the founder is running on fumes. The brake fires every morning. In the 5 a.m. wake up where we ask, is this all there is? That question, that specific 5 a.m. question. Many of us have lived in that cell. Some of us are living there right now. Pattern 4, outer level 4, inner level 4. Listen to this one. Aligned. Slower climb than the hustlers. Less impressive on Instagram. Less LinkedIn worthy. But the brake fires way less because the misalignment is small. Tiny gap. The brake has almost nothing to fire on. The work feels lighter. The breakthroughs come more consistently. The energy stays steady. This is what alignment looks like at this stage of the journey. Not level 9 of either map. Not enlightened. Not $100 million business. Just both axes lifting together. Holding hands. Walking at the same pace. So, I want you to look at your cell again. The one you found a few minutes ago. Your specific cell. And look at the gap between your outer level and your inner level. The actual distance. The actual misalignment. That gap, that's where your brake actually lives.
That's the work.
So, the fix isn't what most of us have been trying. Listen carefully. This is where the reframe lands.
We've been trying to climb one axis at a time. Just one. Just the business. Or just the inner work. Stack of business books 1 month. Stack of healing books the next.
But the brake is in the gap. So fixing one column doesn't dissolve the brake. Sometimes, listen to this, sometimes it makes the gap worse.
Watch this. We climbed the business map from level 4 to level 5. Cool. We just got better at the outer game. But now our inner state has to do double the work to catch up to where the outer is. The gap just got bigger. the brake fires harder.
The actual fix? Lift both at the same rate, slowly together. Climb both maps simultaneously. Even if it feels like you're moving slower on each axis individually, you're closing the gap, which means the brake has less to fire on, which means the work gets easier, which means the climb compounds. That's the secret. That's the whole secret of this masterclass. Right there.
For now, just hold this principle. Listen.
The brake fires at the misalignment. The cure is alignment. And alignment isn't a destination, it's a rate. Lift both at the same rate. That's the whole game.
Now listen to me.
If you've been with me all night, really listening, if you've been finding yourself on the maps, if you've been catching yourself going, oh wait, that's actually me, that feeling has a name. It's recognition. And I'm telling you, recognition is the first medicine, the very first one. You weren't broken.
You were stuck in a misalignment that nobody had named for you.
And now it's named.
You see your coordinates. You see the cluster. You see the gap.
And the work from here? It isn't about being smarter. It isn't about trying harder. It isn't about doing more inner work. It isn't about doing more business work. It's about closing the gap, both axes together, slowly. And that work, the actual climbing system, week by week, that's what the rest of this masterclass shows you how to do. But right now, right this moment, I want you to do one thing for me, all right? Just one. Sit with your coordinates. Write them down. Both numbers, your outer level, your inner level, and the gap between them, that distance. Write the gap down too. Because that gap, my friend, that's the most important data of everything that follows tonight. Take a moment, take a full minute. All right, take a breath and let's keep going. Because now I want to show you something specific. Between every gate on this 9 by 9 grid, between level 1 and level 2 of the outer map, between level 4 and level 5 of the inner map, all of them, there are traps. 27 of them. They ambush us between the levels. Many of us know them by feel, even if we've never had a name for them. So let me name them.
All right, take a breath.
You've got your coordinates. You've seen the misalignment. You've located the gap. Now, listen. I want to show you the specific traps that fire between every gate on that 9 by 9 grid. 27 of them. Or technically, 26 plus 1. I'll explain the math in a minute. Hold the question.
And here's the thing about these traps. Each one is what ambushes us between specific gates. They don't fire randomly. They have specific locations, specific situations, specific climbs where they activate.
And many of us, most of us, honestly, we know them by feel. We've been ambushed by them for years, decades maybe, even though we've never had names for them. We just felt the ambush and didn't know what hit us. There are two groups, two main categories. Watch. First group, the 11 preset filters. These are how we perceive reality. Cognitive distortions, basically. We pick them up from childhood, from culture, from family, from education. They distort what we see before we even get to deciding what to do. They run before the decision. Second group, the 15 pitfalls. These are how we behave. Decisional traps, patterns of action and inaction that block the climb. They run at the decision point. So here's the structure. First, I'll walk you through all 26 named traps at a quick pace, just for recognition. No fixing yet. Then we'll deep dive the 5 that show up loudest for ACE survivor entrepreneurs specifically. Then I'll reveal the 27th. All right? Let's go. All right. First group, the 11 preset filters, how we perceive reality. Each one is a way our consciousness got conditioned to distort what's actually there. Watch for recognition as we go. Your job, just feel which ones fire for you. Don't try to fix anything. Don't take notes yet. Just notice the lighting up. Filter 1. The future judged by the past. We meet today through a lens shaped by yesterday's pain. The past keeps repeating itself because it keeps filtering the future before we even arrive at it. Filter 6. The bias of logic. Logic is built on past experience, so when we use logic to decide what's possible, we are letting the past vote on the future. The vote is rigged. Filter 8. Survival consciousness. Illusions of separation. Illusions of scarcity. The default operating system of someone whose nervous system has been running on threat for too long. Filter 11. Karma. Not in the Western punishment for past wrongs misunderstanding. Karma as unfinished business. The wheel that keeps turning until the lesson is understood.
That's the 11. Take a moment with them. Which ones lit up? Which ones did you actually feel as I named them? 2, 3, maybe 4?
Don't try to fix them right now. Just notice. Just hold the ones that fired. All right. Second group, the 15 pitfalls, behavioral traps. How we act or fail to act when the filters are running underneath. Same instruction. Feel for recognition. Don't try to fix anything yet. Just notice the lighting up. Pitfall 1. Be reasonable. Shrinking our dreams to fit what someone else decided was reasonable. Pre-rejecting ourselves before anyone else can.
Pitfall 2. Half throttle. Living lukewarm, drifting, settling, existing instead of thriving.
Pitfall 4. Doubt. Believing our limits instead of testing them. Self-doubt as the driver of the car.
This one's massive for our niche. We'll come back to it.
Pitfall 5. Faith in the familiar. Old routines feel safer than new ones. We mistake repetition for safety. We'll come back to this one too. Pitfall 10. Failures aren't allowed. Treating a mistake as evidence we're damaged. Treating every problem as proof of inadequacy.
We'll deep dive this one too. It's loaded for our niche.
Pitfall 13. Preparation. Getting bogged down in getting ready. Always getting ready, never actually starting. The famous "I'm not ready yet" loop. We'll come back to this one. That's the 15. So now you've seen all 26 named traps. Which ones fired for you as I named them? Hold those. 2, 3. Maybe 4 of these will be the ones firing hardest at your specific gate. The cluster of traps around your coordinates. Now we're going to look at the 5 most common for our niche. The ACE loudest ones. Watch which of these are in your loudest set. All right, 5 deep dives. Watch. These are the traps that fire loudest at our common cluster. The ones I see fire most often in the people I work with. The ones with specific signatures for ACE survivor entrepreneurs. 5. Pay attention to which one fires loudest in you as I describe each.
Deep dive 1, the doubt pitfall.
My name for it is doubt. The audience's name for it, the one you've heard 1,000 times, imposter syndrome. Same animal, different label. For our niche, listen, doubt isn't a thought. It's a wiring pattern. The body says no before the mind even gets to weigh in. By the time the conscious thought, Who am I to do this shows up. The body has already contracted. The thought is the echo, not the cause. The release? Not arguing with the doubt. We can't win that argument. The doubt has been preparing for decades. The release is taking the action one time despite the doubt. Just one rep. The body learns from action, not from convincing. Deep dive 2. Faith in the familiar. The pattern where old routines feel safer than new ones, even when the old routines aren't working, even when they haven't worked for years. For ACE wiring, this one is particularly cruel because the familiar our body coded as safe in childhood was often the opposite of safe. So we are literally faithing into harm because it's the harm we know. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. Read that again. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. That's the trap. The release, naming the familiar as the trap, out loud. This feels safer because it's familiar, but familiar isn't safe. It's just familiar. Then a small step toward the unfamiliar. Tiny. Don't go big, go new. New is the medicine. Deep dive 3. Failures aren't allowed. My name. The audience knows it as perfectionism, as the shame spiral, as, and this is the worst version, if I make a mistake, that mistake is me. I am the mistake. For ACE survivor entrepreneurs, this one is rooted in specific moments in childhood. The moments where a mistake led to consequences that were way out of proportion, punishment that didn't match the act, withdrawal of love that didn't match the wrong. The wiring learned, very young, mistakes equal danger, not mistakes are learning opportunities. Mistakes equal danger encoded. The release? Reframing failure as evidence of trying. The Pathfinder has a great line on this. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every failure shows you what's not the way. Treat each failure as a successful experiment in elimination. Deep dive 4. The preparation pitfall. Audience name? The famous I'm not ready yet loop. We keep getting ready. Researching, learning, preparing, reading the next book, taking the next course. We never actually start. The release? A bias towards starting. Start before you're ready. Start ugly. The Pathfinder is explicit on this. You'll learn more in the first week of doing than in the first year of preparing. Every time. Deep dive 5. The future judged by the past filter. This is the root filter, the one that holds all the others in place, the chassis, the foundation. For ACE wiring, this is the filter. Every present moment gets distorted by past pain before it ever reaches conscious thought. The future gets pre-rejected based on what happened a long time ago to a much younger version of us. The release? Conscious awareness and the willingness to release past attachments. That's the work. Not fixing the past, not even healing it directly, just noticing, moment by moment, when the past is filtering the present and gently asking, what's actually true right now? That's the practice. That's the release.
5 deep dives.
Doubt. Faith in the familiar. Failures aren't allowed. Preparation. Future judged by the past. Pick one. The one that fired loudest, as I named it. The one your body went, oh, that's me on. That's the trap firing hardest at your specific gate. Right now. Hold that one. We're going to come back to it at the take home.
All right, promise time?
I told you when we opened the traps, 26 plus 1. So where's the 27th? Let me show you. The 27th trap is fear itself. Not a specific trap. The engine behind all 26. The thing that powers them. The thing that animates them. The thing that makes them fire.
Watch this. When you look at the 26 we just walked through, every single one of them has fear underneath it. Listen.
The doubt pitfall, fear of being seen as a fraud. Faith in the familiar, fear of the unknown. Failures aren't allowed, fear of being damaged, of being broken.
Preparation, fear of starting, fear of being seen at the start. The future judged by the past, fear of repeating old pain. Survival consciousness, fear of scarcity. Half throttle, fear of being fully ourselves.
Every single one has fear underneath, all 26, every single one. So when we say 27 traps, we don't mean 27 unrelated patterns. We don't mean 27 different problems. We mean 26 named costumes, plus the one wearing them all. Fear is the actor. The 26 are the wardrobes. And remember the question we landed on in the mind and heart pillar? Listen carefully. Fear as information or fear as bouncer? That question, that one question, goes underneath every single one of these traps. If you can ask that question, you have a key to the whole wardrobe. The trap looks like 26 different things. Underneath, it's one thing. And if you can address the one thing, the 26 costumes lose their authority. This is why naming the trap matters. As long as we keep treating each of the 26 as separate problems, we get exhausted trying to fix them one at a time. Fix the doubt, fix the perfectionism, fix the procrastination, fix the comfort junkie. Fix, fix, fix. We never get to the bottom. But once we see they're all costumes of fear, the work simplifies. We don't have 26 problems, we have one. And we have a method for it. All right, take home for tonight. One step, just one. Name the trap that's sitting in your gate right now. Just one. The loudest one. Maybe it's one of the 5 we deep dived. Doubt. Faith in the familiar. Failures aren't allowed. Preparation. Future judged by the past. Or maybe it's one of the other 21 you heard named. Doesn't matter which one. Pick the one that fired hardest when you heard it. The one your body recognized. Write it down tonight. Now if you can, just name it. Make it visible. The naming is the move. Then, and this is the key, ask the mind and heart question about it. When this trap fires, is it fear as information or fear as bouncer? That's it. That's tonight's diagnostic. Don't try to fix the trap yet. Don't write a plan. Don't problem solve. Just name it. Locate the fear underneath it. Identify the type. Naming is the whole first move. The fix comes later. Right now, just naming.
So look at what we've got now. Listen to where we are.
We've got coordinates, your specific cell on the 9x9 grid. We've got the gap, the misalignment between outer and inner. We've got the specific trap, firing hardest at your specific gate. We've got the engine, fear, wearing 26 costumes. We're getting really precise about your specific stuckness now. But there's one more piece before the climbing system itself. One more pillar, the third pillar. And that piece is spirit and flow, the alignment between the inner and the outer climb, the deepest layer. This is where the masterclass gets deeper than most things I've ever taught. Stay with me. Let me show you how it works.
Let's go. All right, third pillar, spirit and flow.
Now look, I want to be really honest with you about what this pillar actually is, because in the planning of this masterclass, I almost watered it down. Almost. Because the word spirit carries baggage for a lot of us. Religious baggage, cult flashback baggage, hippie baggage, whatever. And I was tempted, really tempted, to make this section safer, to soften the edges, to use more neutral language, to not say the bold things out loud.
But that would have been a disservice to you, so let me speak to it the way I actually teach it, the way I've been teaching it for 25 years, with the actual depth, not the safe version.
Spirit and flow isn't just the alignment pillar between economic machine and mind and heart, though it is that on the surface. At a much deeper level, listen carefully, this pillar is a complete revision of who and what we actually think we are. A revision of our self-view, a revision of our worldview, both at once, both changing together. And here's the thing. Most of us don't even realize we have a self-view and a worldview installed in us. We just live inside them, like fish in water. We don't see the water. We don't notice the lens.
And the break we've been working on for all these hours? Listen, most of it is downstream of that lens. So if we don't revise the lens itself, the self-view, the worldview, we end up just rearranging the break. We never dissolve it.
Now, here's the invitation framing. Important. Listen. What I'm about to walk you through is one possible new self-view and world-view. Not the only one. Not the truth. Just one map that, after 25 years of testing, I've found dissolves the break more reliably than anything else I've encountered. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's how this whole pillar works. Invitation, not dogma. First, teaching. And honestly, this is the deepest one. The most powerful change to our self-view and our worldview, and I really mean the most powerful, it goes like this. We are not just human beings who occasionally have spiritual experiences. No, no, no. We are spirit having a human experience. And specifically, and this is going to sound bold, so stay with me, we are the creator, each of us. Not a metaphor, not a poetic flourish, not we are like the creator. We are the creator. You are God, or whatever word lands for you. Source, the I am. Consciousness, the self, spirit, the field, the divine, the Tao.
Different names, same referent. You are it.
Wayne Dyer said this beautifully. And I want to read you a passage that the first time I heard it 20-something years ago, it broke something open in me that's still broken open.
Listen.
This is the ineffable secret, the ultimate illumination, the key to peace and power. You are God. You are God. You are the I am that I am. You are consciousness. You are the creator. This is the mystery. This is the great secret known by the seers and prophets and mystics throughout the ages. This is the truth that you can never know intellectually. Within each and every one of us, there is a place inside of each and every one of us that is all-knowing, that is almighty. There is actually a fragment of God. The Creator has planted within every creature a fragment of Himself, a spark, a spirit of the same nature of Himself. And thanks to this spirit, every creature can become a creator.
That's Wayne Dyer. Let me sit with that one for a second. Even after 25 years, it still lands on me.
Now look, I want to be really clear about something. I'm not pushing a religion here, all right? I'm not Christian, I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Hindu, I'm not anything. What I am is someone who's noticed, after 25 years of doing this work, after the crash I told you about earlier, after watching this same shift happen in client after client after client,
that this particular reframe of self-view changes everything.
From I am a separate little human trying to figure life out alone, to I am the creator playing the game of being a human. Same circumstances, same Tuesday, same coffee in the morning, completely different operating system underneath the whole experience. And listen to this, the brake stops firing the same way because the system running the brake, the whole identity that the brake was defending, has been replaced
with something bigger, with what was always there underneath.
Now look, I just told you something pretty bold. You are the creator having a human experience.
And honestly, for some of you, that landed straight in. You felt it. Good. Stay with that.
For others, your intellectual brain is going, okay, David, that sounds nice, but where's the proof, right? Where's the science? Where's the evidence?
So, I want to give you the physics. So I'm going to walk you through 5 miracles of quantum energy. Watch this. Miracle 1. Are you ready for this?
Your physical body, the one that feels solid to you, is approximately 99.99999% empty space. Not metaphorically, literally. That's miracle 1.
Miracle 2.
That empty space inside you, turns out it's not empty. Science has actually proven this. The vacuum, what we call empty space, is full of energy.
So full that, listen to this,
if you took every star in every galaxy in the entire universe, billions of galaxies, billions of stars in each one, and you compressed them all into 1 cubic centimeter of space, you would still not reach the energy density of empty space. Empty space is denser than the entire physical universe compressed into a cube the size of a sugar cube. Let that land for a second. So you are mostly space, and that space is mostly energy. Incomprehensibly dense, magical, conscious energy.
That's what you actually are. Not the small solid thing you've been thinking you are.
Miracle 3. The atoms that make up your body and everything you see around you, they are not stable physical objects. They are quantum packets of energy that flash in and out of existence.
50 billion times per second.
Your body is being recreated from the quantum field 50 billion times every single second of your life. It only looks continuous because the flashes are too fast for your eyes to catch.
Miracle 4.
So, what holds the flashes together, right? What makes you look like a body and not a cloud of probability? Information? Physical reality is light, trapped by information. The information is what creates the patterns. The patterns are what create the apparent solidity. And the source of the information? Well, that's where this gets really interesting.
Miracle 5.
The source of the information that holds the quantum flashes in pattern. Consciousness. Your consciousness. The observer effect, proven in quantum physics for over 100 years now, shows that the act of observation actually shapes what is observed. And what that means is, when you change your consciousness, your beliefs, your inner state, what you're paying attention to,
you literally change the patterns of quantum information that create your physical reality.
You're doing it right now, constantly. So now, you see why physics and spirituality are meeting in the middle. The mystics have been saying, you create your reality with your consciousness for thousands of years. the quantum physicists are now saying, finally, the observer shapes the observed at the most fundamental level of reality. The mystics had the metaphor, the physicists are now providing the math. And that's why the spirit and flow practice we're about to look at actually works. It's not woo, it's not a nice idea. It's the practice that aligns your consciousness with the quantum field that creates your reality. When you do that work, the physical world responds. Not because of magic, because of physics. You are conscious quantum energy, and that energy is creating everything you see, including your business, including your break, including your next breakthrough. Second teaching, listen. If you accept, even just as a working hypothesis, not a belief, a hypothesis, that we are the creator having a human experience, and that physics and spirit are pointing at the same thing, then something else follows.
This life we're living, it's a game that spirit plays, not ego's game, spirit's game. And that changes everything.
Ego's game looks like this. Watch. This is the operating system most of us are running. Default, inherited, unexamined.
I am separate. I am alone. I have to figure it all out by myself. I have to make it happen through force. The world is against me. If I fail, I'm done. There's not enough to go around. Other people's wins are my losses. Everything is a competition. That's the default operating system. That's what most of us are running. Honestly, it's exhausting because it's a game of one against the entire universe. The universe is bigger. We lose every time.
Spirit's game looks completely different. Completely. Listen.
I am part of something vast. I am never alone. Help is always available. If I ask, the world is responsive to my consciousness. Failure is feedback, not condemnation. There's enough for everyone. Other people's wins lift me too. We're all in this together. Same life, same circumstances, same coffee in the morning, same Tuesday.
Different game, different operating system underneath the entire experience. And here's the catch for us in this niche specifically. Listen. Many of us have been running ego's game with ace wiring layered on top of it. So we've got the worst possible combination, the loneliness of separation, plus the hypervigilance of survival mode wiring. When we switch to spirit's game, even partially, even just trying it on, listen to what happens. The loneliness drops out. The hypervigilance has less to defend against. The business gets easier, because we're no longer fighting the universe alone.
That's the practical difference, not just inner peace, not just spiritual nice feelings.
Easier business from the inside out. Third teaching. Now, if you accept the first two, that you are the creator having a human experience, that life is spirit's game, not ego's game, there's a specific practice that goes with that. I call it discover your divinity. 3 actions. Each one is a portal. Each one moves the worldview from theory into experience. Action 1. Radical acceptance. Acceptance as the gateway. Acceptance of what is in this moment. Without resistance. Without bargaining. Without the constant little no running in the background. Acceptance is the gateway to infinity, to abundance. It's the first key, the first portal. Action 2. Seek the kingdom within. The kingdom isn't outside us. It's not at the top of the entrepreneur journey map. It's not at level 9 of the mindfulness journey. It's not at the next breakthrough, the next level, the next certification, the next mentor. The kingdom is in here, right now, the place inside each of us. Remember the Wayne Dyer quote, That's all-knowing, almighty. The fragment of the Creator that's been with us the whole time, since we were born, maybe before. Seeking the kingdom within means turning attention inward, recognizing what's already there, not creating it, not building it, recognizing it.
Action 3, walk the tightrope.
With monkeys throwing poop at us, that's what it actually feels like sometimes. Keeping the faith while life throws stuff at us. The work here is mastery of asking, mastery of prayer. And then trusting that the asking has been heard, even when nothing visible has changed yet. That's the tightrope. Keep walking.
The monkeys don't get a vote on whether we make it across, right? They throw what they throw. We keep walking. That's the practice.
And here's what's beautiful. Listen to this. Once we do these 3 actions, once we live them, not just understand them, the emergent manifesting I told you about at the very start of tonight, from the bottom of the crash story, that starts to actually happen.
That's emergent manifesting. That's what flow actually feels like. That's the trade, not just the tricks of the trade itself. All right, so now we have all 3 pillars in front of us. All 3. Let me synthesize.
Economic machine, mind and heart, spirit and flow. 3 columns. But honestly, they're not really 3 separate columns. They're not. Watch this. They're 3 strands of a triple helix. They wrap around each other. They depend on each other. Each one supports the other 2. Each one informs the other 2. They climb together. They fall together. They integrate together. Watch this. Each pillar answers one fundamental question. Watch carefully. Economic machine asks, how am I building? The mechanics, the strategy, the execution. Mind and heart asks, what's in the way? The brake, the wiring, the patterns. And spirit and flow asks, who am I really? That's doing the building. The deepest question, the one underneath everything. 3 questions, 3 pillars, 3 strands, and spirit and flow is the why, the deepest question, the one that gives the other 2 meaning. Without it, the climbing system has no center, no anchor, no why. And here's the diagnosis. When we work 1 pillar in isolation, just business stuff, or just inner work, or just spiritual practice, we're trying to climb a triple helix as a single line. The brake fires precisely because the other 2 strands aren't supporting us. That's the structural failure mode. But when all 3 move together, when the outer climb has the inner climb supporting it, and both are held in the awareness of who we actually are, the climb stops feeling like force. The brake dissolves, not because we fixed any single thing, because all 3 are integrated. The triple helix is functioning the way it was designed to function. And honestly, listen to this. This is the centerpiece of the whole masterclass.
That integration is the healing. That is the medicine. We don't have to heal first and then build the business. We don't have to find God first and then make money. We don't have to fix ourselves first and then show up. Building the business with all 3 pillars moving together, with the right WHO underneath them, is the healing. The outer climb plus the inner climb plus the recognition of who we really are. That's the medicine. That's been the medicine the whole time. We just couldn't see it without revising the lens.
All right, take home for tonight. 3 questions, just questions. Don't try to answer them right now. Just hold them in your body and feel what happens. Just notice what comes up. 1. What if it's actually true that I am the creator having a human experience? 2. What if life is a game that spirit plays, not a battle ego has to win? 3. What if I'm never alone and help is always available if I ask for it?
3 questions. Sit with them, maybe for a day, maybe for a week, maybe longer. The answers come over time, not on demand.
Naming the questions is the work tonight. That's enough. The questions do the work in the background. We don't have to figure them out consciously. And now, let me show you the third AI tool, the last of the 3, the AI Vision Weaver. Because the self-view and worldview revision we just walked through, the Discover Your Divinity practice, once that work starts, a vision emerges from this depth. Not the small ego vision, the big spirit-level vision, the vision that comes from the deepest WHO. The Vision Weaver helps you do exactly that by making you actually see yourself living that vision with your own face, cinematic, personalized, mind movies on steroids. Let me bring it up.
All right, third and final AI tool, the AI Vision Weaver. Let me bring it up on screen.
So, what does this thing actually do? Listen carefully. This is the bit that matters. It weaves vision. That's the whole job. Where the coach diagnoses the block and the strategy OS plans the climb. The Vision Weaver holds the destination clearly enough that the path becomes visible. Vision weaving as a craft. That's 20 plus years of my manifesting research distilled, compressed, calibrated, built into one tool. Like the Quantum Growth Coach, this one is trained primarily on my work, not consultancy stuff, not McKinsey. This is my manifesting research, my vision weaving practice, the 6 layers work, the mindfulness journey, the polarity integration framework, and the emergent manifesting teaching from my own crash. All stacked, built on top of Claude, calibrated specifically to this niche. Same Claude foundation as the other 2 AI tools. Different training, different job. And here's what makes this demo different from the first 2. Watch. The Strategy OS demo showed outer game competence. The Quantum Growth Coach demo showed inner game diagnosis. This one shows integration. Both maps, both axes, all 6 layers, the 27 traps, the GPS plus I rhythm, all in one response.
So watch carefully. This is where it all comes together. Same setup as the other 2 demos. Cold demo. The Weaver doesn't know me. No memory, no context. Just the prompt I'm about to give it.
Once a member's been using it over time, this same Weaver knows their coordinates, their cluster, their current level, their last 6 months of work with it, their previous visions, their wins, their patterns, all from their own use of the tool, not from anything the Weaver is watching elsewhere. And what it generates for them is entirely different, calibrated to you specifically, with your story underneath, not the abstract version.
But even cold, watch what it does.
All right, here's the test case. But notice, Vision Weaver is different from the other 2 tools we've seen. It's not a question and answer tool, it's a visualization power engine. What you do with Vision Weaver is you speak your vision out loud, like talking to a coach, for 3 or 4 minutes. So here's what our user does. They open the app, tap the mic, and speak. About 3 minutes of describing what they want their life to look like. Here's what they say. I want to be running my coaching practice at a level where I work 4 days a week, not 7. I want a small team, maybe 2 people who handle the operations. I'm known for the depth of my work. I have time to write the book that's been waiting inside me for years. I'm in the best physical shape of my life. I have deep present relationships with my partner and my closest friends. I'm in nature regularly. I feel, for the first time in a long time, like I'm actually living the life I've been visualizing for years, not aspiring to it, living it.
Pretty common vision for our audience, right? Sustainable practice, team, body, relationships, purpose. Most of us in this room have spoken some version of this vision, out loud or in our heads, many times.
Now, watch what the weaver does with it. First, the weaver doesn't just take the spoken vision and generate, it walks the user through it, helping them clarify, specifying, getting sensory, getting concrete. Watch the questions it asks. Tell me more about what sustainable means in your day-to-day. Walk me through a Tuesday in this vision. When you say best physical shape of your life, what does morning look like? Where are you? What are you doing? Be specific.
The book that's been waiting. What's it about? Who's it for? What does the cover look like? Describe a Sunday with your partner in this vision. What are you doing? Where are you? What does it feel like?
See what's happening? The weaver is helping the user see their own vision in detail, not abstractly, specifically, sensory, body level, time of day level. The user answers each question, maybe a sentence, maybe a paragraph. The weaver listens, asks the next one. By the time they're done, maybe 5 or 6 minutes, the user has the clearest version of their vision they've ever had. Each scene, each detail, each layer specified. Then, and this is the part that makes Vision Weaver different from anything else on the market, the user uploads a selfie. Or uses an existing photo, doesn't matter. The weaver takes the user's actual face and generates the vision around it. The weaver runs through a few minutes of processing, building the personalized mind movie, cinematic, about 2 to 3 minutes long, calibrated to every detail of the vision the user just clarified. And then, this is the moment the user watches their own mind movie, their own face, in their own life. Scene 1. Coaching session. The user, their actual face, doing the work at their best, with the kind of client they want. Calm, present, in flow.
Scene 2. Morning movement. The user, their face, in the best physical shape they've ever been. Fit, alive in their body.
Scene 3. Writing the book at a desk that feels like their desk, their face, focused, words flowing. Scene 4. Sunday with the partner, laughing, present, in love, their face, their life. Each scene, their actual face, their actual vision, cinematic, personalized down to the detail. And the weaver also builds the soundscape, focus-enhancing audio, alpha brainwave entrainment for morning practice, theta for evening, plus a custom-guided meditation that walks the user through the vision, voice-led, deepening the practice beyond just watching. All of it, the video, the face, the audio, the meditation, built from one voice input, one selfie, one vision.
Stop for a second. Look at what just happened.
This isn't a vision board. This isn't a Pinterest collection of stock photos. This isn't a quote in a journal. This isn't an affirmation you read. This is the user, their actual face, actually living their actual vision. In video, cinematic, personalized down to the scene. Most of us have visualized our dream life 1,000 times with our eyes closed as imagination.
Most of us have never seen ourselves in it. That's the vision weaver's difference. You see yourself living it. Your actual face, your actual dream, cinematic, personalized.
And the neuroscience here is real. The medial prefrontal cortex, your brain's self-referential network, activates dramatically more powerfully when you see yourself versus generic stock imagery. The MIT Future You study showed participants who saw AI-rendered future selves had a 2 times increase in future self continuity. So, when you watch this mind movie 4 minutes a day, morning ritual, your brain isn't watching someone else's life. It's recognizing your life, the future you, as if it's already real. That's cognitive rehearsal at the deepest level the science can measure. PETALP mental imagery research, WHOOP mental contrasting, decades of cognitive science on visualization. The Vision Weaver operationalizes all of it, built around your face, built around your dream. And the user does this daily. 4 minutes morning, alpha brainwave audio underneath, energizing. 4 minutes evening, theta audio, slower, programming the subconscious. Plus the guided meditation that deepens the practice beyond just watching. Plus a home screen widget that shows a still from their mind movie. So they get passive exposure dozens of times a day every time they unlock their phone. Same vision, different brain states, different times of day, compounding cognitive rewiring over time. And remember, this is the cold version. The Weaver had nothing on the user. One vision attempt, one selfie, one generation. Once a user's been using the Weaver over weeks and months, they refine. They iterate. They generate new mind movies as their vision evolves and clarifies. The Weaver remembers everything they've built with it. Their previous visions, what evolved, what landed. All from their own use of the tool, in their own account, not from anything else. The mind movies get sharper, the visions get truer, the cognitive rehearsal compounds, the brain rewires faster because it's seeing the same self in clearer and clearer futures over time. This is what Vision Weaver does. It makes your vision visible, with your face, cinematic, daily. Mind movies on steroids, that's the simplest way to say it. Alright, so now you've seen all 3 AI tools. Watch the recap. Strategy OS for the outer game, the business strategy. Quantum growth coach for the inner game, drawing your own wisdom out. Vision Weaver for the vision itself, seeing yourself, living it. 3 tools, 3 pillars, 3 jobs. You've walked both maps. You've named your level on each. You've seen the cluster, the gap, the traps, the pillars, and the 3 tools that calibrate to each. You've got the maps, you've got the diagnosis, you've got the vision you want to walk toward. So the question now becomes, listen, how do we actually walk the path? Month by month, week by week, day by day.
That's the climbing system. The clarity method, the GPS plus I monthly cycle, the actual practice, the week by week, the thing you can start running on yourself tonight. That's what's next. Let's go.
If you've just joined us, we've mapped the whole terrain tonight and the traps between the levels. You're arriving exactly at the how. And my run sheet says, we're right on time. All right, so we've walked both maps. We've named our cluster, we've seen the gap, we've covered the 3 pillars, we've walked the 27 traps, we've seen the 3 AI tools that integrate everything. We've covered a lot of ground. Honestly, At this point, the question that's probably forming in your head, listen, is this. David, how do I actually do this? Day by day, week by week, month by month. What's the actual rhythm? Great question. That's exactly what I want to show you next. The climbing system itself. The operational engine. Because honestly, listen carefully. This is one of the most important truths in this whole masterclass. Insight without implementation is entertainment. We can have the most beautiful framework on the planet, the clearest diagnosis, the most precise coordinates, the most calibrated AI tools. And if it doesn't have a rhythm we can actually walk, none of it matters. We end up with another framework on the shelf, not another life lived.
So let me show you the rhythm, the actual rhythm.
There are two pieces, just two. Watch. GPS plus I, that's the monthly rhythm, the 4-week structure, goal, problem, solutions, integration, 4 weeks, 1 month, repeated monthly. And clarity, that's the specific toolkit we apply within the rhythm, inside week 3, the actual transformation work. GPS plus I is how we structure each month. Clarity is what we work with when it's time to actually transform. Together, they're the operational engine of everything we've taught. All right, GPS plus I, 4 letters, 4 weeks, 1 month. Let me walk you through each. Week 1 is the G goal, know your destination deeply. Now this isn't just write down a goal. We're not making a vision board on Sunday afternoon. This is the deep work of testing whether the goal is actually yours or borrowed from family, culture, an old version of yourself, the algorithm, your coach, your mom. Week 1 outcome, a goal clarity document. You leave week 1 knowing, really knowing where you're going and why. Tested, validated, yours. Week 2 is the P problem, excavate with compassion. Now we map all the layers of what's blocking the goal. The 6 layers from pillar 2. The belief layer, the somatic layer, the body memory, the relational contracts, the parts that are sabotaging us, the wiring that's been firing for decades, all of it, layer by layer. And we do this work compassionately, not to fight the blocks, to understand them. Because, listen carefully, the blocks were once protections. The wiring did its job. It kept us safe. It just hasn't gotten the memo that the danger passed.
Compassion over combat, that's the week 2 ethic.
Week 2 outcome, a problem discovery document with every layer mapped, not solved yet, mapped.
Week 3 is the S solutions. Now we build the toolkit.
And this is where clarity comes in. The framework I'm going to deep dive in a minute. Week 3 is where we take everything we excavated in week 2, every layer mapped, and we apply specific techniques to actually transform it. Not just understand it, transform it. 6 different angles of work, 6 different doorways, each one calibrated to your specific situation, your specific block, your specific layer. Week 3 outcome, a clarity solutions roadmap. The toolkit customized for this specific goal in this specific month. Week 4 is the I integration. And honestly, this is the most important week of the whole cycle. Because here's what most programs do. Listen, most programs end at solutions. Week 3. They give you the techniques. They say, good luck. And they leave you to integrate alone. That's where most of us actually lose the work. Integration is what makes the change permanent. Week 4 is about building sustainable systems, accountability structures, resilience protocols, the architecture that holds the change in place, even after the motivational lift fades. Because, listen, integration is everything. Insight without implementation is entertainment. And implementation without integration is just temporary inspiration. Week 4 outcome, an integration mastery blueprint, the architecture that makes this month's transformation permanent. And by the way, quick aside, why 4 weeks specifically? Why not 2? Why not 8? Because 4 weeks is the cadence that actually moves coordinates on the map. Faster than that, and the work stays surface. We don't reach the deeper layers. Slower than that, and we stall. The momentum dissipates. 4 weeks is the rhythm where real change embeds and keeps moving. Trust me on this, 25 years of testing, 4 weeks is the sweet spot. All right, now clarity. The week 3 toolkit, 6 components, each one a lens, each one a doorway. Let me walk you through each one.
C. Construct identity.
This is the deepest leverage point of the entire framework. Listen carefully, because here's the secret most personal development misses entirely. Identity precedes behavior. Behavior follows identity. If you see yourself as someone who already embodies the goal, the actions flow naturally, easily, like water. If you see yourself as someone trying to become that, the actions feel forced. The body resists. The brake fires. The work isn't to do more. The work is to be the version of you who already lives at the next level. Then the doing follows. The diagnostic question for construct identity is, who do I need to become to achieve this goal? That's the C of clarity. L. Liberate beliefs. The beliefs we excavated in week 2. Now we transform them. Not just understand them, liberate them, release them. There are specific techniques for this. Belief inquiry, cognitive restructuring, somatic releases. The community's techniques library has dozens of them. The diagnostic question, what limiting beliefs need to be released for this goal to be possible? A. Acquire skills. Every goal requires specific capabilities. Technical skills, emotional skills, relational skills, strategic skills. The A is about identifying which ones you need for your specific goal and building them deliberately, calibrated, not generically. The diagnostic question, what must I be able to do that I can't do yet? R. Reinforced traits. Character traits, discipline, courage, patience, persistence, self-trust. These are the engine of sustained change. The R is about choosing 1 or 2 traits per goal, not all of them at once, and deliberately strengthening them through micro practices. The diagnostic question, what qualities must I embody that I haven't been embodying enough?
I. Identify roadblocks.
And listen, important distinction, not the internal blocks we excavated in week 2. External roadblocks, predictable setbacks, likely failure points, market conditions, timing issues, the people who'll push back. The roadblocks we know are coming. The I is about anticipating them, so they don't derail us when they arrive. The diagnostic question, what will try to stop me from the outside? T. Transformational inner work. The depth. Some goals require addressing wounds that were never healed, integrating shadow material, completing developmental tasks that got interrupted in childhood. The T is the deepest work, not for every goal. But when it's needed, nothing else substitutes for it. The other 5 components can move us forward, but the T is where the deepest breaks actually dissolve. The diagnostic question, what needs healing for this to actually be possible? 6 components, 6 diagnostic questions, each one a complete body of work in itself. The clarity assessment in week 3 helps you figure out which components need the most work for your specific goal. A business goal might be heavy on skills and identity. A relationship goal might emphasize beliefs and inner work. A health goal might require traits and roadblock planning. Different goals, different clarity emphasis. The assessment is the diagnostic, clarity is the toolkit. Now, here's how all of this actually fits together. Listen carefully, and why it's so different from trying to do this alone. Week 1. The Goal Week. The AI Vision Weaver. What we just saw demo, that's the week 1 tool. It generates the multi-layer vision. It helps you test for authenticity. It connects you with your future self. Week 1's tool, built right in. Week 2, the Problem Week, the AI Quantum Growth Coach. The one we saw demonstrate the 6-layer diagnosis. That's the week 2 tool. It excavates each layer with you. It identifies which traps are firing. It maps the blocks compassionately. Week 2's tool, built right in. Week 3, the Solutions Week, the Clarity Week, the Techniques Library, 324 plus techniques growing every month, is the depth that powers everything. You don't flip through them yourself. The courses already weave them in. The AI Quantum Growth Coach, if you subscribe to it separately, is already trained on all of them too. Each clarity component has dedicated techniques mapped to it, surfaced for you, not handed to you as homework. And the AI Business Strategy OS, that's the cross-week tool for the economic machine pillar. It threads through every week, helping you keep the outer climb integrated with the inner work.
Week 4, the integration week, the community itself.
The accountability, the cohort, the other conscious entrepreneurs walking the same climb, the Mega Tuesdays rhythm, the check-ins, the shared milestones, the someone saw me do the thing and held the space for it. Because, listen, and this is the truth nobody tells you. Integration alone is brutal. With a cohort walking the same climb, integration becomes sustainable. The work that's impossible solo becomes doable together. That's why the community structure exists, not as a bonus, not as a feature, as the week 4 infrastructure.
So when you put it all together, the 3 AI tools, the techniques library, the community, it's not 5 separate things. It's one integrated rhythm.
GPS plus I as the cadence. Clarity as the toolkit inside week 3. The AI tools and the library as the practical work each week. The community as the integration infrastructure that makes the whole thing sustainable. That's the climbing system. That's how you walk the gap closed, month by month, cycle by cycle, both axes lifting together.
All right, take home for tonight. One thing, just one. Don't try to start the whole GPS plus I cycle in your head right now. That would be overwhelmed. That would defeat the purpose.
Just one move, pick one goal. The one that's most active in your life right now, the one that's been on your mind for months, maybe years. And just start week 1. Test it for authenticity. Is this actually mine? Or is it borrowed? Does it serve my real values? Can my future self actually pull me toward it? Or is the pull coming from somewhere else?
That's it for tonight. Run week 1. See what shows up. Don't try to do clarity tonight. Don't try to complete the whole 4-week cycle. Just start the goal week. Sit with the question. Let the answer take its time. And honestly, listen to this. I want to be real with you for a second.
Most people will try to do this alone after watching a masterclass like this. They'll write down the goal, sit with it for 2 days, get distracted by life, and forget. 3 weeks later, they'll vaguely remember they were going to try something, but the momentum is gone. That's not because they're failing. That's because doing this alone is incredibly hard. The cadence requires structure. The clarity requires techniques. The integration requires accountability. Doing it alone, the rate of success drops to almost zero.
With the cadence and the structure, it actually becomes doable. The rate flips. Which brings us to what's next.
Up to this point, we've been walking through frameworks, doing diagnostics, seeing the AI tools, learning the climbing system, all of it. And honestly, that's been the gift. Whatever happens from here, that teaching part was the gift. You showed up, you did the work. Now, and only if any of this has been useful to you, I want to show you what it actually looks like to do all of this inside the community, with the system, with me, with other conscious entrepreneurs walking the same climb. Permission pivot incoming. Let's go. All right. So up to this point, we've been doing the teaching part, the maps, the pillars, the traps, the AI tools, the climbing system, all of it. And honestly, whatever happens from here, I want you to know
that teaching part was the gift.
You didn't have to give me anything to receive it. You showed up, you listened, you did the diagnostics.
That was the work.
And now I want to ask you a question. A real question, not a setup. Is it okay if I take a bit more of your time to show you what it actually looks like to do this work inside a community with the structure, with the cohort, with me, with other conscious entrepreneurs walking the same climb? And listen, I want to be really clear about this. If the answer is no thanks, David, I've got what I needed from the teaching part, that is completely valid, 100% valid. You can close this stream right now, click away, go run week 1 of GPS Plus I tonight, never come back.
And it's all good, genuinely.
I built the teaching part to stand alone for exactly that reason. No hard feelings, no wait, but no follow-up emails.
The teaching is yours, free, forever. That was the deal.
But if you're curious, if you're wondering what the community actually looks like, if any of this has been useful enough that you're wondering what would it actually be like to do this work with David and a cohort of people in the same niche, in the same kind of work,
then stick around. What's coming next is for you. A bit more of your time, that's the ask. Then we wrap. Cool?
So first, quickly, what is this community and why does it exist? Because honestly, I'm not the kind of guy who starts communities lightly. I've been writing books and creating courses for 25 years and didn't build a community most of that time. There's a reason I started this one. I noticed something. The work we just walked through? Listen, it doesn't actually land alone. The maps, the pillars, the traps, the climbing system, the AI tools. These require a rhythm and a cohort to really hold. Insight without implementation is entertainment. We just said that. And integration alone is brutal. We said that too.
So a few months ago, I started building this community for a specific audience, the audience I've been quietly serving for 25 years, even when I didn't have the language for it back then.
Conscious entrepreneurs with adverse childhood experiences.
Specifically, not for everyone. Specifically for this niche, built around the climbing system we just walked, designed for the cluster you named when we put your 2 maps together, tuned to the break patterns we mapped in the 27 traps.
If you're in this niche, this community is for you, specifically by design. So, here's the offer. And tonight, it is not the usual version of it. Let me explain. Everything you've seen tonight, the maps, the pillars, the traps, the climbing system, the 3 AI tools, the community, is one system. The Abundance GPS. One system with 5 connected parts. The community hands you the map. The coach gets you moving on it. The vision weaver lets you see where you're going. The strategist sharpens the route as the money grows. And when you want me in the room with you, the mastermind is the door. Each piece answers the very thing the last one opens up. That's why it's one system, not 5 products. And right now, for the first time, and the only time, that system is in its founding window. Founding means exactly what it sounds like. The first people in. The lowest prices there will ever be. Locked for life. And real caps on the seats. With real reasons, which I'll tell you straight. So let me walk you through it, plainly, numbers and all. And then you decide at your own pace, like always. Part 1. The community. Everything I'm about to show you in the tour. The full classroom, the techniques library woven through the courses, the monthly challenge, the cohort, all of it. $270 for the year. That's the founding annual rate. And if you take it inside this window, that rate is locked for life, even when it rises for everyone else later. And it will. Part 2. The AI Quantum Growth Coach. The one you watched hold a real coaching conversation tonight. $799 for the founding year. 100 founding charter seats. And that cap is real. Here's the honest why. The coach is built and ready to use, and it's in its founding chapter. We keep the first cohort small on purpose, because we work closely with that founding group to put the final polish on it before the doors open wide. You get the founding rate, first in line, and your feedback shapes the finished product. One more thing about the pre-sale tools, and it matters. Your charge today, that's what locks your seat and your rate. But your founding year starts the day your access opens, not today. You lose 0 days of what you paid for. Part 3. The AI Vision Weaver, the face reveal you saw tonight. $299.99 for the founding year, plus a founding bonus credit pack on top. 150 charter seats. Same founding chapter, same honest reason. Part 4. The AI Business Strategy OS, the strategist that built a 90-day plan in front of you. $14.97 for the founding year, and founding members get a live activation call with me personally. 50 charter seats, the smallest cohort of the 3 deliberately. It's the deepest tool. Now, important, and I want to say this cleanly because I hate fuzzy offers. Each of these is its own separate subscription. The AI tools are not quote-unquote included in the community. Nothing hides inside anything else. On the page, you'll also see founding bundles. 2 or more of these parts together at one founding price. A bundle is a checkout convenience and a founding discount. It is never one product pretending to contain another. The parts just work better together. That's the whole point of a system. And part 5, the top of the ladder, the private mastermind. Weekly one-on-one with me, a weekly group room with the other founders, $3,500 a month, 6 seats. 6. Because I physically cannot run weekly one-on-ones with more than 6 people and keep it real. That cap is a wall, not a tactic. When those 6 chairs are taken, that room is closed. 3 promises straight, no asterisks. 1. On the 3 AI tools, pre-sale delivery guaranteed. Paying today makes you first in line. Your access opens on your cohort's access day. And if we don't open your access by then, you get a full refund. No questions asked. 2. Your founding price is locked for life. The rate you lock tonight is yours for as long as you stay, even when the price rises for everyone else. First in, lowest forever. 3. Cancel anytime. Every part of this is a subscription you can cancel in one click. The community, each tool, even the mastermind. No contracts, no minimums, no retention calls. Cancel and the next charge simply doesn't post. And here's what we never promise, an income result. You've heard me say it all night. This work releases brakes. What you build once the brakes are off, that part is yours. Now the window itself, honestly, because that's the only way I do this.
The founding window closes Sunday night, 11:59 Brisbane time.
After it closes, prices step up. That's the design, and it's honest. The people who move first get the floor. We never reset a founding deal. Ever. And when a cap hits 0, it closes and stays closed. No quiet extra seats. No fake sellouts either. The counters on the page read real data, and the only timer anywhere is the real one. If tonight's not your moment, that is genuinely fine. The free tier stays free. The teaching stays yours. But if you've been waiting for a floor to stand on, this is the floor.
One door for all of it. Go.miracles for .me/get.
Everything is on that one page. The 5 parts, the founding bundles, the live seat counters, the guarantees written down in full. If you're heading there right now, type the word MAP in the chat as you go. I love watching that. And then come back, because before we wrap tonight, I want to walk you inside the community so you can see with your own eyes what you'd be stepping into.
All right, let me actually show you, because honestly, words only go so far.
Let's go.
First thing to know, school has a free tier. Listen.
So you don't have to commit to $27 a month just to look around. You can join the free tier, 0 cost, get a feel for the community, see the structure, watch some of the conversations, decide whether you want to upgrade. On the free tier, you can see the community feed. You can see what members are working on. You can see the structure of the classroom even if you can't access most of the courses themselves. You can feel whether this place fits you. Energetically, culturally, vibe-wise, before you commit to anything, commit to. And then, when you're ready, if you're ready, you upgrade to $27 a month for the full access. One click, no application, no sales call. That's where the actual work happens. But you don't have to start there. The free tier is the door. Walk in, look around, no pressure.
All right, let me walk you through the classroom. This is the paid tier. What you get for the $27 a month.
Watch this. The courses are organized by the 3 pillars we covered. Economic machine on one side, mind and heart in the middle, spirit and flow on the other. Let me zoom into one. Mind and heart. Pillar 2. Look at the specificity of these mini courses. Watch. End. Self-sabotage in 14 days. Heal your inner child in 21 days. The 9 levels of radical mindfulness. Map the ego's 22 tricks. Spot your inner critic in 7 days. Each one focused, time-bounded, with a defined outcome, not a 150-hour course that nobody finishes. A specific outcome in a specific window.
A focused weekend. Or 2 weeks, done. Moving to the next one.
And see this section here? Listen carefully. These mini courses are mapped to the 9-level diagnostic we walked through earlier. So, if you named level 4 of the mindfulness journey as your current location, the inner map, there are specific mini courses for the 4 to 5 gate. If you named outer level 3, there are specific mini courses for the 3 to 4 gate, calibrated to your coordinates. That's how the classroom is structured, not random, coordinate mapped. And inside each mini course, same structure every time. Watch. Typically 3 to 7 lessons per course. Each lesson 10 to 15 minutes, plus worksheets, plus downloads, plus reflection prompts. Sometimes audio versions for the lessons you want to do while walking. You can do a whole mini course in a focused weekend. Some you'd want to take a week with, some you'd want to revisit every few months as your coordinates change. Either way, defined, completable, with a clear outcome on the other side. Now, let me clear up something important about the AI tools. Pay attention to this distinction because the marketing world makes this kind of thing confusing, and I want to be radically clean about it. Inside school, you can see all 3 AI tools: the Business Strategy OS, the Quantum Growth Coach, which used to be called and is also still called the AI Voice Coach, and the Vision Weaver. All 3 show up right here inside the community from your dashboard. But listen, they are separate subscriptions. Each one has its own pricing separately from the $27 a month. The community membership doesn't bundle any AI tool. You can subscribe to one. You can subscribe to all 3. You can subscribe to none. Up to you. Here's what it looks like once you've subscribed to one. Let me show you the Quantum Growth Coach, the one you can actually talk to, in voice mode while you drive, while you fold laundry, while you walk the dog, while you cook. Voice in, voice out, hands free, or you can type if you'd rather. Either way. Trained on over 1,500 files of my work, knows all 324 plus techniques in the library, knows the 9-level maps, knows the 27 traps, knows the 6 layers, knows the GPS plus iCycle, knows the clarity method. All of it inside the coach. Available to you 24/7 once you're subscribed. 3 a.m. moment of doubt, coach is there. Pre-launch freeze at noon, coach is there. Wednesday afternoon stuck moment, coach is there. And here's what daily usage actually looks like. Watch the exchange. A member types or says out loud in voice mode, "I'm about to send a hard email. My body is freezing. What do I do right now?" Real question. Daily question. The coach pulls from the techniques library, recommends a specific 60-second nervous system reset by name, walks them through it step by step, then helps them draft the email itself if they want. That's daily usage, not big picture diagnosis. Daily, in the moment, an in-pocket co-pilot for whatever the next hard thing is. Same kind of thing for the other 2 tools. Each one calibrated for its own pillar. Each one a separate subscription if you want it.
All right, the techniques library, 324 techniques and growing.
You can search by symptom. Type "I freeze" before sending emails. Get the relevant techniques. Type "launch paralysis." Relevant techniques. Type "price raise body freeze." Specific techniques.
All right, the monthly rhythm. This is where the cohort piece really shows up. Watch.
The 4-day break-free challenge at the start of every month. Then the 4-week GPS plus eye deepening cycle that follows it. As a cohort. So you're not climbing alone, you're climbing with everyone else who's in the work that month. And the proof of that rhythm? It's all over the community wall. Let me show you. These, what you're seeing on screen, these are real wins. From real members, anonymized, with permission, recent. Notice the specificity. These aren't, I made 6 figures last month brag posts. They're not Instagram screenshots. They're not curated for marketing. Look at them. I sat through the body freeze and sent the email.
I raised my rate without apologizing for the first time in 11 years. I said no to the client who was draining me. Launched the offer I'd been sitting on for 3 years. Posted at full volume for the first time. Didn't delete it. That's the climb actually happening. One gate at a time, one break released at a time, one small specific victory at a time.
These aren't motivational quotes. These are real moments in real lives from real members. This week, last month, last quarter. And there's a specific weekly rhythm I want to mention, Mega Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, the whole community posts about what they're working on that week.
That's the difference between climbing alone and climbing with.
And last thing in the tour, the cancel button itself. Look at this. Right there, one click, that's it. No retention call, no "are you sure?" guilt trip flow, no 3-step confirmation process, no "please tell us why you're leaving." Survey that requires 15 minutes to escape. No, we'll give you 50% off if you stay. None of that. Click the button, you're out, same day. Cancellation effective immediately. We make leaving as easy as joining, genuinely. Because honestly, if it's not serving you, you shouldn't be paying for it. That's the deal. That's the ethic. Easy in, easy out. No friction either way.
All right, so that's the community.
The classroom. The techniques library woven through the courses. The monthly challenge plus deepening cycle. The cohort. The Mega Tuesdays rhythm. The 3 AI tools. Strategy OS, Quantum Growth Coach, Voice Coach, Vision Weaver. Accessible as separate subscriptions from inside school. And the one-click cancel button when you've gotten what you needed.
That's what you'd be joining, or what you can join free first to check out before you upgrade.
Final piece coming. Let me close this thing out properly.
All right, we've come a long way together.
Most people don't stay to the end of something like this. Most people can't even sit through a 6-minute video anymore.
So thank you. Genuinely, thank you. You showed up, you walked the maps, you named your coordinates, you saw the cluster, you watched the AI tools work, you saw the climbing system, you toured the community.
That's a real investment of time, real attention, real presence. I take it seriously. And here's what I want you to take from all of it. Listen carefully.
Whether you join the community or you don't, whether you upgrade to the paid tier tonight or in 6 months or never, listen to what's already yours.
You have the maps, you have your coordinates, you have the gap named, you have the cluster located, you have the 27 traps named, you have the 3 pillars, you have the climbing system, you have clarity, you have GPS plus I, you have 3 questions to ask when fear fires, when the inner critic fires, when a block fires. All of that is yours now, free forever. Use it.
All right, 3 audiences listening, 3 different next steps depending on which one you are.
If tonight is the first time you've ever heard of me or any of this work, the next step is simple. While the founding window is open, everything we walked through lives at one address, go.miracles4.me/get. And if you just want to look around first, the free tier of the community is at miracles4.me. Both doors are open tonight. That's path 1. If you've read A Happy Pocket Full of Money, and you've been wondering quietly in the back of your mind for years maybe what I've been working on in the years since the book, this is it. The community is the work. refined and integrated and structured. 25 years of refining what the book started. Same two doors for you. The free tier to feel the lineage, or the founding page if you already know. The book was chapter 1. The community is the whole system. That's path 2. And if you're already inside the free tier, watching this stream right now, already part of the community, first, welcome again. Glad you're here. You already know what this place feels like. Tonight, the founding window is simply your moment to claim the full version of it. The whole classroom, the cohort, the founding rate locked for as long as you stay. Same address, go.miracles4.me/get. Path 3.
And whichever path you're on, listen. Whether you upgrade tonight, whether you upgrade in 6 months, whether you never upgrade at all,
the next step is the same. Actually use what was shared today. Sit with your coordinates. Name your trap. Pick your gate. Run week 1 of GPS plus I tonight, this weekend, this month. The map is yours. The work is yours. The next step is yours.
and one last thing before I let you go.
You weren't behind. You weren't broken.
You are on the map without one. Now you've got it. Use it.
Thank you for staying with me through all of this, genuinely. Whatever you do with this, wherever you go from here, I appreciate that you spent the time. That's not nothing in 2026. Attention is currency now. You spent yours here. I take that seriously. And if you do head to the community, miracles4.me, I'll see you in there. The work continues. The climb continues. One gate at a time. One break released at a time. With a cohort, ideally. But always at your own pace.
All right. That's the masterclass. I'm David Cameron Gikandi.
Go close the gap.